long this one will run, but we're going to kick things off with our operator bans. BDS will start us off with their attacker ban. Will they take away one of those shields that they were punished so badly with when they met back in EUL Stage 2?
It's got to be the Blitz getting taken away here. We know that Secret will play it if you leave it open for them. That or they come in with a game plan. Sure enough, sticking to the same ban as we saw in their best of 3 just over a month ago. In fact, I think it was about bang on 5 weeks ago they played that best of 3. Blitz taken away, no big surprise. Here, I'd expect to see a Deimos ban coming in against Shaiko. Sure enough, there it is. The defensive side is where things have got a little more flexible between the two sides. We've seen them banning things away against each of the things like the Legion coming in against Shaiko, but you've also seen Secret lean to variable different bans here throughout this competition. So I don't think there's so much a bread and butter must ban here for either side, but things like Grim, like Mirror to get taken away from Secret, Castle, definitely a spicy one. Given you have no idea what BDS run here as well, I like to see this.
Final ban will come on through then. BDS will round things out for us. But like you said, as teams definitely going to have to be finding a different way of doing things. Valkyrie will be that final ban. Interesting one from BDS. It is an operator that Shaiko will use from time to time. Kafe can be a great map for Valkyrie. Plenty of little hiding spots for those black eye cameras. But obviously BDS just looking at it and thinking that they would rather not have to deal with it than to be able to use it themselves. So heading straight into things, the immediate standout pick for me there when I'm looking at these first 2 lineups is Leakifak on the cap can.
And speaking of Leakifak, I think it's a few players rushed during interviews and such, and he's currently standing for a number of people as the best player in the world. Not strictly that he's going out there and setting up lights in terms of KD and entry and all the other stats that set the hallmark of a good player, but the fact that he's still performing as a top 10 player around the world whilst IGL in this team. Fresh was pointing it out in the clip that we had on the desk about just how vocal he is. As soon as he falls down, 2 or 3 seconds later, he's got all the information out to get his team over the line, and he's a great energy source for them as well. Definitely propelling himself towards GOAT status, and I'm sure he'll get even closer after this series if BDS can get the job done. Obviously, danger in picking Kafe is BDS get to start on the choosing side of their, well, the side of their choice. Naturally on Kafe, you're going to find yourself starting on the defense here, Tim. The Secret have got a rough 6 rounds to fight through first. Yeah, we've seen some really big defensive halves on Kafe throughout the tournament. I'm thinking SSG's 5-1 against VP, and then they returned it 6-0. VP have looked pretty clinical on the defense a few times, but how about this? Doom going straight into the top floor. He's going to pick up 1, and that is an explosive start from Secret. Solotov there for the trade, but they have lost Shaiko, and more importantly, Des, they've lost the Azami. I wanted to correct you there and say they found 1. They found the GOAT team. They found Shaiko. What a to get rid of? Because the crucial thing as well is that's opened up Pixel, which is normally quite a hard angle to break. Battle really being Solotov. He was undroned inside a piano. No doubt the Monty coming into effect there. He's now taken over that position that Shaiko was in. So the 1-for-1 early on. Good to find the Azami. Not the end of the world for either team.
Just going to be holding the angles here. Virtue looking to maybe pressure into Piano a little bit. That's going to be the focus now, I would expect, for Secret. With the Azami gone, that's the position you're usually using that defender to hold on to. Is Piano, is Pixel, make it difficult for the attackers to get in there. As it is, they can now start moving in, trying to take a bit of ground. They've still got, of course, Solotov to deal with inside a bathroom, but I don't think he's going to get too aggressive on this. And opening up White Window, Adrian here, that's going to make it difficult, because it stops Solotov being able to play out into Pixel.
One thing I've watched quite intently throughout this competition so far has been the drone count as it whittles down throughout the round. We're less than halfway in, yet all the information game has gone from Secret. They're barely inside the map, Tim. You've got 1 player inside a cigar. Of course, it's the line, as you can see, stepping on forward here for Savage, but this does mean that when it comes around to their push in, they're very much going in blind, and that opens things up for BDS to surprise them with C4s from strange angles being held. So Secret here might be walking into a few losing gunfights.
Very possibly. We see the Bees coming in, just trying to make it difficult for Leakifak to keep his position there, but there's absolutely no difficulty for Leakifak as he manages to take Adrian down outside of the White Window. Grube finds Brede, and Usus is there for the trade. BDS are doing so well on the trade game so far, Des. Every time Secret seem to find a little way in, a little bit of space, BDS are there to slap them back down and find an answer.
That's the main battle, I think, is at this point they're playing playing so tightly together, and you can afford to play this way on BDS. I always like it. It's a kind of line that is drawn diagonally through the middle of the map from bottom left to top right. That's the line that BDS has set up, and all the players within a second or two of each other. They can guarantee trades when Secret try and take rounds, and now we're down to the last 30 seconds with very little information. They're going to have to do it with guns up.
That could be really well timed from Savage, though. Manages to find users, and that's going to create a little bit of extra space for Secret here. They do have Diffuser in hand, so it's going to be a big choice here. Do we go for the plant, or do we go for the kills? Are we confident in the cover? Right now, Savage is effectively 1v2 because Virtue, he's trying to tickle that Diffuser and put it down, but absolutely not. BDS stand firm. BDS take round one.
Right idea, I feel, coming out of Secret, making sure they had the cover going down as the plant was going down right in towards Trash. It was a good sprint across coming out from Virtue, but BDS, rather than trying to take two separate 1v1 swings, they stack up in storage as a two, which basically guarantees you a trade if it comes down to it. Just really smart, responsive play coming out from them. They'll replay here into that initial entry on towards Shaika, who I'm pretty sure knew this was coming, but still got stung out by June, which left us in a 4v4 for the remaining 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
Honestly, if they win that second fight on the Amaru, if Solotov doesn't manage to get that trade, that round looks very, very different for Secret. And it's exactly what I picked up on for BDS. The trade game was fantastic throughout that round. It was really, really good. And if they can continue doing that through the defense, they're going to have a lot of joy here on Kafe. So we move on then. And this time it's going to be just down one floor desk. They're going to head into reading room.
Yes, similar sort of vibe to what you saw in the previous round. This means is that you'll have a bit of presence from BDS up on the top floor, 2 or 3 players normally holding up here. Looking to waste time, for Secret to have to move through that top floor once again. I don't think we're going to see an Amaru come flying in. That kind of card has been played, and at this point BDS will be expecting the hijinks. So we go over towards that Monty. They said it themselves in the pre-game trash talk. You can't ban both shields, BDS, so what are you going to do when a Monty comes running at your face? And although I'm pretty sure Savage would much rather be on the blitz, you're still going to take the oppressiveness that these operators with the shields do offer.
It's got to be something that BDS have thought about. It's got to be something that they've prepared for. Secret have already hit them once with it, and you know the saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Will it be shame on BDS if they haven't prepared themselves for these shields being brought against them? Not seeing anything in the way of traps to deal with them, so we don't have anything like the Legion on side, the Frost on side, just to make it difficult for that Monty to progress. They might be quite reliant on something like the Solotov on the Azami, for example, to maybe just create a situation where that Monty is trapped a little bit or is struggling to push forward. But right now, he's going to be tasked with holding onto Piano.
It's again trying to lean heavily into the drone denial, right? It's the Mute this time rather than Mozzie. No big surprise, Mute is the most played defensive operator from so many teams here at the Major, because it does restrict the ability for attackers to get information, but this is where the Monty helps overcome that. You haven't got to worry about droning things with a massive shield in front of your face. The problem is you've got to be careful about these flanks, and that's exactly what Solotov finds. The real difficulty being here, Tim, you've now lost the tip of the spear. You've lost the Monty that was brought along to help you gain ground, and now you're looking towards someone like June to work a little bit of magic on the Nook.
Great stuff from BDS. I asked if they had a plan to deal with the shield, and they definitely did. Just lining up multiple angles, so there was absolutely no safe space. And I've got to ask, Team Secret, did you really have enough support for your Monty there? He was being pressured from 2 sides, and there wasn't really anybody who could help him out of that situation.
June's expecting a flank to come from red stairs, which is would be unusual, really, for BDS. They're not the kind of team to make these wild, sweeping flanking plays. You might expect it a little bit later in the round, but for the most part, if Shaiko on the Soul is looking to deny things away, in fact, it's coming down towards red corridor. So that's the main thing they've got to respect here. But June might be looking for ghosts, I'm afraid.
Solotov does manage to find Grubit along the way as well. That's the Lion gone, so no further E1D scans. And we see now, Secret have got themselves a little bit of top floor control, but I don't think any more than BDS are basically happy to give them. Just about to walk on into sight. Virtue gets slammed by Shaiko from behind the bomb chassis. Adrian will find the trade through the soft wall. Downs a second, and it's effectively now a 2 versus 3, Des.
They finally got into a scrap here, and June, he's been sat inside a wheel hallway the entire round, Tim. 2 minutes 30, and finally gets into a gunfight, and sadly loses it out. Adrian, as I mentioned, our lowest rated player remaining in the tournament. He found 2 for himself. But BDS is going to say that's all you shall receive. Another round over to the French side.
Looking pretty comfortable. It's not unexpected. If you're a Team
Kafe
Secret fan, don't sit there panicking just yet. The Secret players won't be. As you say, Des, it's Kafe defense. Even BDS going 5-1 here, you're looking at it and thinking Secret can definitely get themselves back into that when they switch onto the other side themselves. BDS for round 3, continuing their defensive cycle, will go down to the bottom floor. The interesting question I've got in my mind at the minute is when BDS, or if BDS win Kitchen here, do they go to mining, do they go to the 4th site, or do they take us back up to the top floor and start that cycle over again? That's something for us to keep an eye on in the next round, dependent on how this one goes. Secret at the minute, it's kind of tough for them. It's one of those where I don't feel like they've been doing too much wrong. I feel like the planners, they've had the right idea. The plan has been there. Like last time, yep, we're going to try and take Piano with Monty. It's just the execution that's letting them down a little bit at the minute. A little bit of luck. Amaru into White Corridor, gets one, finds a second. Different round, but it didn't happen that way. It's the Secret. Just need that bit of extra luck.
It's the one thing I'll always stress is, teams can have plans and put them together and execute them, and they still lose around, and it's so easy to look at it and go, what the hell were they doing? Why are they trolling? Why are they throwing rounds away? But at least so far, the ideas from Secret have been good. It's just the response from BDS has been better. And sure, Savage going down inside of Cigar, not ideal. That's 2 rounds in a row, really, where they haven't had drones inside of Piano, and they paid the price to someone sat around the grandfather clock, getting a freebie onto a player, either as a trade or as the first kill. That's what I think Secret have got to shape up on when they're trying to push in towards that top floor. Down in the basement, though, we'll see how things shape up. And just worth noting, Tim, Kafe is a map. We've seen the most rounds played this map across the tournament. It is our most defender leaning. So all you're saying there, a 4-2 half is very expected for defenders when you look at how things have shaped up across the tournament so far. This really needs to be that offsite, though, that Secret are getting over the line if we're going to see them get that 4-2 half they're looking for.
A 4-2 half is, a very good outcome for Secret. Like I said, even a 5-1 won't really worry them too much. Don't get me wrong, they don't want to be going as far as 6-0, but as long as they can pick up this third choice site once out of the twice that we would expect to see it played, they won't be overly worried, I don't think, coming into that second half. Grube, he has been a standout player so far for Team Secret, and he's going to be looking to get himself going. He's only found 1 kill in the first 2 rounds, and Secret have, I won't say been reliant on him over the last couple of days, but the more that he can contribute, the better, because he really has been leading the way so far in Montreal.
Looking towards that time, we're halfway in the round and they've been doing a lot of the vertical work, which is always the benchmark for me on this site. If by 1:30 remaining, you're starting to get things opened up vertically, you're in a good spot, and they have missed double. That's just going to be a second Electroclaw, I have a feeling, or it's dug a little bit further down the shelf. They will actually keep it electrified off. In fact, they must have just missed it at the back wall. That is such a shame.
Yeah, it's just been outside of the radius of the impact EMPs. But the problem is they don't have any other impact EMPs. They've now got to rely on getting a Twitch drone in there, and look at what's likely to happen to the Twitch drone. How? They haven't spotted it out. Adrian's got away with it. He goes in and takes out the Electroclaw. You're a couple of seconds too late, Leakerfack.
Man's playing Siege on pacifist mode. No one's shooting at that. You must have heard it go on through, but although it's extended about 15 seconds of time that it's taken to get this hatch opened up, it is still open, Tim. So Secret for them, the execute is still on, just with less time to get it done.
Yep, using those verticals now. Virtue on the book, just opening things up. Next plan, really, next step of the plan is to drop that shield on into Freezer, but before they can do that, they've gone for it. I was going to say, before they can really do that, they need to worry about Bride in VIP, but they've skirted past him. They've just gone too quick, and Bride's impact is going to be limited at that point. Leakerfack is down. However, Bride manages to find one onto Adrian, 4 versus 4, but the plant is going down, Des.
And those C4s are tossed in towards them here. What a great kill to come out with 3 out of nowhere. And BDS have got the shutdowns they need. Secret again, right idea, but not winning the gunfight will cost them big. BDS up 3-0 on the defensive Kafe.
I really thought Secret had got away with that then. They dropped Freezer and just sprinted past the area that Bride was going to be watching, but the problem was they didn't have anybody to lock him down from White Stairs, so he was able to come and start challenging. He was able to make a nuisance of himself, and they can't allow Bride across there. If the whole plan is to just shut him out in the cold, you got to keep him out in the cold, Des. You can't let him get into the fight like that. And we can see Twister, he's going to pull the cord on that tack time out. and try and see if he can have some sort of impact on the trajectory of this one at the minute, because as much as we say Kafe is defender-sided, it's more the manner of the rounds that BDS have been winning. They've been so confident so far.
You have attack time after a couple of rounds. It's normally because there's a car crash with communication, but here it's come after round 3. Or what you'd like to refer to as the first quarter of the game, because it played through 3 sites now. You'll see those same 3 sites played in rotation. You've had a chance to see each one as a coach here, and you can step in and be right, here's where we're losing time, here's where we're making errors, here's where things can get better. The mind games that then come into it is on BDS's side. They're really unlikely to play exactly the same strat with exactly the same lineup again. So it's more the general things that you need to help the team figure out in between rounds when they go into games. The IGLs can step up and be like, right boys, here's the things that have got to change based on the information that we can see at the start of this round. BDS have looked dominant, not impossible to beat, but it's still extremely dominant.
As you would expect with the scoreline, of course, but still an important point. BDS have got double the number of kills that Secret have got at the minute, 14-7, and they just have been more deadly in those key situations like we saw there. The push comes on in, the plant's going down. Yeah, Secret are playing the objective, they're getting the plant down, but what are BDS doing? Kill, 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 and they're just getting the numbers in their favor. The trade game has been fantastic from BDS. Rarely at the minute will you see a Secret kill that BDS don't quickly have an answer for, and that is something that Secret have got to figure out, because it is grinding them down at the minute.
It is. Well, hopefully there's something cooking here as well. Savage, fingers crossed he ain't falling down too early in this round. It's what stung them last time round as they stepped in towards Cigar. What I do like about attacking this top floor, and Tim, please don't go off about top floor, I know you're not the biggest fan. What's nice about top floor is you haven't got to worry about a full map clear. Going in towards the basement, for example, you do have to do a full map clear, or attacking in towards the second sites, you've got to clear top floor and then worry about site itself. Whereas here, you get Cigar, you get Piano, you get a backstab coming up towards White, for example, someone on the cocktail window, and you actually have quite a lot of threat that you can employ. Secret were in good positions last time. It just came down to losing that 2 versus 2. The BDS played out excellently.
Shaco, of course, this time is going to remain past the first 20 seconds of the round, because Secret know they're not going to get away again with sending an Amaru in through the window. It means BDS, they won the round last time. This time they've got an Azami on top of everything else to be able to play around. Also, Solotov has dropped away. Keep an eye on him. He's in train at the minute. He's got Nitro in hand. As I'm talking about that Nitro, it's actually Likafak who manages to find an explosive kill, taking down the Hibana at Virtue. But here comes the shield, and they've just got answer after answer. Secret completely unaware of Shaiko holding himself inside a washroom, and he gets the freest kill of the day onto the Monty.
It's again that game of restricting away information. The Mozzie on side denies so much away from Secret. They run low on drones and they don't come in with full information. I think outside of round 3, all 3 of the rounds that we've seen, they've managed to get this punish where there's a lack of information on Secret there. Getting sideswipe from inside a Piano. They aren't aware about someone coming in for a trade on the Amaru back in round 1. The sideswipe on towards Savage when he pushed inside a Cigar, and now a player inside a bathroom that they just were not aware of. They're being bitten, Tim, by information denial. This map can be quite bottlenecky, and they're really feeling the pain of it.
I said coming into this game so far, BDS have only felt like they've maybe been at sort of 70% here in the tournament. They've had some decent performances, they've got games won, but it feels like they've got so much more to offer. We've seen it from these players time after time. We saw it back in Manchester when they got themselves through to the final. Honestly, Des, it feels like they've started delivering a little bit of that extra today. Like I said, they're winning gunfights, they've got answers, they've got the strategical advantage. Everything is falling in their favor at the minute, and as much as we talk about Kafe being defender-sided and BDS, it's not the end of the world for Secret. If they get a bunch of rounds here, it's starting to become a problem now.
I thought about it earlier, actually, in the Virtus Pro Series, where it's like 1 or 2 rounds on the attack of this map is plenty. It gives you so much room on the other. In fact, think about the other day when SSG were at 5-1 against Virtus Pro on this map, and we thought, wow, they're absolutely flying, and then Virtus Pro come out and win 6 defenses back-to-back to get the map win regardless. It is that kind of map where it can happen. And that's why for Secret, I wouldn't be too beat up about yourself being down 4-0. You could see Savage in the cams a minute ago barking commands across the team. They get 1 round, 2 if they're lucky. That's not a bad spot to be in. That will be enough to go and have a good solid to start to that defensive half. I like here how they're saying, okay, you know what, we're getting suppressed a lot in terms of information. What are they doing? Lion, Dokubi coming out. Dokubi being an operator, you'll see a lot from BDS too. They love leaning on this operator to get the job done. I actually like the Secret have doubled down on it and said, let's bring along both and really try and make this push work.
There is no better time for Secret to get one on the board than now. Leak of fact, though, it's too easy, Des. It's too easy for him. He just peeks out a white door and takes down Groovy just like that. That's the butt gone as well. That's a lot of that verticality. Breedy, he's going to take the head off of Doom, and Secret, they're in all sorts of trouble, Des.
The information net again fails in the most painful part being they had a drone, didn't have one here. That's the second kill this round that they've got for free, and there is no response from Secret. Make it a 5 versus 1. Secret are absolutely crumbling here.
It just feels like they're making mistake after mistake, Des. The wheels are coming off because of the pressure that BDS have put on over the first few rounds. I've got to ask the question, you're on rappel, why are you strafing across the width? Just, you go up 2 feet, you're safe. You can get yourself across if you're wanting to switch sides. No real advantage to be found for Secret, and Savage, he's going to head up to Skylight. Maybe see if anybody will...
Official timeout for them.
Exactly. You know, maybe somebody gives him the good grace of sticking their face into a little peak that he can find, and it gets something going for the team. But realistically, this is not good for Secret right now.
Yeah, if you're tuning in here and you haven't seen this kind of thing before, it's a stage where we've got about 1.5 minutes still to play. That is the length of 2 tactical timeouts that you have. Obviously, the coach can't get involved. Shiko, who knew you had it in you? For them, it's a chance to have a conversation here about how the hell they get anything over the line going into round 6. Because this one, it's cooked, it's done. It's not worth thinking about this round too much more. What can they correct? Where do they keep getting sideswiped? And for me, Tim, it is consistently in that information gain like I keep on talking about. The drone's being blocked away by things like the Mute and the Mozzie and the Solus. The BDS, they've played it absolutely perfectly. But so far, Secret's choice to allow their permaban to go through and to play BDS here, it's backfiring pretty spectacularly on their attacking half.
Yeah, absolutely. Savage just going to be closing out the round from that hatch, I would imagine. Sometimes in those situations, you know, you maybe 1v3 or something, you'll use a bit of that time. See if somebody has a look at you. You know, see if somebody gets a little bit overzealous. You take them down. You've all, you know, all of a sudden you find yourself in a winnable situation. That wasn't the case here for Savage. He knew that nothing was going to be making that one winnable. 1v5 closed out. BDS managed to get themselves round 5, and they are absolutely storming away. Like I say, the bigger problem looking at Secret at the minute is the mistakes are starting to creep in, and I think they're really feeling the pressure of what BDS are doing right now. This isn't just about, you know, look, these rounds have been close and a couple could have gone a different way. That's not the case here. BDS are in a different league at the minute.
They are a tough team to beat. But I spoke about this the other day when teams let the results of halves like these really get into their minds, and it starts to cripple the second half of the same map or potentially even the whole series. And it's one thing I really want to Secret show that discipline to have here, is to acknowledge that sometimes things will start to fall down, but you can get it back on track still. Don't forget, I said it the other day, rounds in Siege, they don't roll into one another. Outside of the score at the top of your screen, there's no cash, there's no items, there's no power-ups that you get from winning rounds. Everything resets as soon as that clock starts again at the 3:45 mark. So, let's see if they can get anything going in the second half. And now we'll have to try and close things out here. And you know what, Tim? Throw the kitchen sink at them. Let's do something a little bit crazy in this round. I'd love to see a Fuse coming along, run 2 shields, try and overpower BDS. Give it a go.
If they're going to throw the kitchen sink, it's handy that they're attacking kitchen, Des.
How about that?
There should be a couple of them knocking down there for them to pick up, but we are going to have the Fuse shield. We've got the Monty shield. Secret are rolling it back to that win that they had in Stage 2. It could be too little, too late, but like you said, Des, you've got to roll the dice at this point. You've got to throw something at it. You're 5-0 down. It's looking, to be honest, like it's going to be 6-0. You've just got to give it a risk, give it a go. We're going to see immediate pressure going in via that ram. It's going to just try and cover off a lot of the noise of this push coming through. Savage dips away, can't get into his ADS quick enough, and he's going to allow them to escape. Solotov, he finds a headshot. Breedy with another. Groovy manages to stop the bleeding though, and Secret are back in this, Des.
Groovy and Juma, the 2 players that we were speaking about before this series that I really want to see step up and shine. They're the 2 most successful entry players for this team. Even whilst it's not entries, it was kills they were starting to find. I just wish they'd slow down once they got coat control. That was a great spot to have so early in the round, but they carried on trying to capitalize on a bit of chaos, and BDS recomposed themselves and got the trade. And like that, all of the good work they've done in the first 60 seconds is gone.
Virtue's pushing right on into sight here, but you just don't feel that maybe Groovy's got the cover that he needs to be able to prevent the pressure coming in. But he manages to drop his shield and find a man. All of a sudden, it's 1v1, 1v2. Brede, he's got it cut out here.
Problem is, it's Brede, man. When you want someone left in the clutch, he's one of the guys that you want. He's sat at 7-2. A quiet tournament at points, no doubt, but when you need him most, he tends to shine and stand up to the occasion. Problem is, he's got a Monty to deal with, Tim. This is one of the most horrible situations to be in. That Monty gets up in your face, there is very little you can do whilst all the information bleeds against you. Even worse, when this diffuser goes down, stepping his way forward towards Prep, right idea, but can't win the 1v1. Groovy gets the kill, and like that, Secret have got the one round they arguably needed to give a little bit of breathing room on the defensive side of Kafe.
Groovy continuing to keep himself on top in terms of performance in this Team Secret team so far here in Montreal, and he stepped up then, really did. I was questioning the position. He was top red. He can kind of cut off across kitchen, and it maybe allows Virtue to think about a planting behind the bomb chassis, and I think that's what BDS were worried about. So they got aggressive, they pushed, and they gave the opportunities over to Secret, who were more than happy to take them. But we move into the second half now. Things switch around. BDS have to go on to the attack. If you're only going to win one round, there is no better round to win than round 6. It gets you that momentum going into the second half at least. We can see the great work that they did to get it to that 2v1. Secret, they were on the ropes again there, but that just shows that maybe it could be a turning point for their mental.
It's like I said, Tim, one round can be enough. Let's hope that it is for Secret and then give us a bit of a show here in this second half. When I look at BDS, they never strike me as the team that's going to play this fast, frantic style that can overwhelm a team. Yeah, you're not going to see them running around with 2 shields here, I think, and suddenly batting down on towards Secret and playing a high-risk game. They're more likely to play a slower, more structured and controlled game. It's why for Shaiko, one of his most played attackers, given the Deimos is taken away from him, is things like the Nomad. They want to make sure they've got those flanks locked down. They want to play things slow and composed. And with the Ram on side here, top floor is once again going to be the main focus. Get that vertical opened up, look for a plant with the vertical cover in place, but it does mean they've got a little bit of work to do.
Leak of fact, more than prepared for that.
He's the go. What can I say?
Nitro comes out of the hatch and he takes it out like clear pigeon shooting as it pops up into the air. Interestingly, BDS have had 5 out of 6 entries so far, Des. Playing on that defense, they're not usually heavy on their own. They're not usually the ones getting out into the map, and they haven't really done that necessarily this time, but they have been able to command those opening gunfights. If Secret could improve this now that they're on their own defense, now that they can control where those fights come a little bit more, it'd be great for them to get that man advantage coming into these rounds.
Oh, Adrian getting pressured here on 3 sides. We never saw too much of this coming out of the other side, actually, when they were on the attack. And like that, he's been isolated and punished. And this is what BDS are so good at. 2 or 3 players isolating one man and punishing you for being out of position. Great start to the round and another entry in their back pocket.
Yeah, really good from BDS. Like you said, there was absolutely nowhere for Adrian to turn. He was trying to use those Kiba barricades, but they were effectively nullified by the fact that there was a BDS gun looking at him from absolutely everywhere. BDS aren't inside of the map really yet. That's the next big step for them. They need to start getting in and taking some control. They're really pressuring from the rappels. They're making it difficult for Secret to move around, but if they never get themselves on inside of the map, they're never going to get to sight, and it's going to be a tough one for them. So BDS, 1 minute 10, it's time to start moving.
Yeah, at this point you might start seeing the collapse come in really. They've got to start this move, as you say. They've got that piano control. They've got Leaky Fat wondering his way here out towards the east, ready to help put some pressure in. Great spot to put down the Grim Beast as well as it should. In fact, yeah, it does. Just tag up Groovy here, forces him further back. So as said, it's giving them that pressure, starting to get control, top floor control. Only about 50 seconds left to play with, though, and they've really got to start thinking about more of this vertical control if they're going to pull this execute off.
Yeah, they've got Virtue on the Warden down in train. The hatch has been opened up above him now, so we'll see whether BDS are able to start pressuring him. Yes, they are. Users manages to find the kill, and that could be the one that opens it up for BDS now. The rest of Secret have been pushed away from that mine in sight, and there might be an opportunity for BDS to think about the site. Users gets himself another Groovy with the trade. 4v2, and it's falling apart for Secret on the defense.
They just keep on coming in for these gunfights, and BDS are ready for every single one. It's not like the reverse, where they're attacking with no information. BDS just look ready of absolutely everything that comes up against them. Savage has got to clutch out against 3. Leaky Fat, Brede having one hell of a map, but it's Shaiko to collect the close. That's really all they need, that one attack, a second one, and this is done and cooked.
Yeah, exactly that. I love what BDS did there. They took no more than they needed to. I voiced the concern, 1 minute 10 left to go. They're not inside of the map yet. They weren't worried about it because they knew they didn't need to get very far inside. All they wanted was Piano. They'd got the kill onto Adrian there, and it gave them control of the area. Once they got on in there, Virtue's playing down inside a train. They pressure him from above, open the hatch, open the floorboards, find the shots onto him. As soon as they've got that, everybody else from Secret has been forced away from mining, and they're able to think about getting in to get a plant. And really, all they had was Piano and mining. That's all they needed, and it's all they took. It was real efficiency of effort from BDS.
BDS in many ways remind me of how VP tend to attack maps like this as well. It's just, from start to finish, they are so composed and in control of the round, and it's really frustrating. If you let BDS get with all 5 players to a point of execution, to getting the plant down, 99% of the time, that diffuser is going down. There is nothing you can do about it. So you need to be trying to get up in their face early in the round. But every time Secret try and do it, as you saw just there, 3 separate players looking out for these gunfights vertically, they get punished. And sure, uses to sit 2 wicked shots to secure them. But what else can you do? You sit back and you lose. You go aggressive and you lose. Damned if you do, damned if you don't in Secret's place here. And they really are getting rocked on Kafe.
Breeder 7-3, Leakafak 8-2, 15-5 between the two of them. They are absolutely running rampant at the minute, but you don't then have to look very far to find other big numbers. You've got Solotov on 6, Usus on 6. Everybody from BDS is chipping in at the minute, and this is what I spoke about coming in. You've given us 70% BDS, now you've got to give us a little bit more, and they are just playing absolutely ruthlessly against Team Secret at the minute. There is no mercy in Montreal from BDS.
It's the small things making the difference. Right? We spoke a lot about the intel game that's been really punishing Secret, whereas for BDS, they're in full control of that on the attacking side, it feels like. When it comes around to the gunfights, they're hitting their shots more often than not. And on the other, we were speaking about the kills that we saw building up for BDS on Secret. 4 players aren't even yet above 2 kills after 7 rounds. It has been such a slow and painful start. It's only Groovy that's really been winning out his ones, and I don't need to be a scientist to tell you that, Tim. It's hard to get done. Jump out comes on through. June's got 2 there. How often do you see a jump out like that, Tim? He's really given himself and the team a good way into this round. They've got a 4 versus 3.
It's honestly the sort of play that Secret, at this point, just have to roll the dice with. They have to take a chance. They have to try and get something going, and that has done it for them. 4 versus 3. The most important thing nowadays, of course, obviously with the scoreline 6-1, is that they go on and win this round. They've done the hard work. They've got themselves the advantage. Deal with the Monty now, make things difficult for BDS and close the round out. BDS are a structured team. We know this about them. If you can create a little bit of chaos, Secret, you might just find some joy, and that's what this round should teach you.
They're looking a little bit stuck here and unsure on how to proceed. You know, you've got a smoke inside of VIP, who of course you can see is blocking things out to stop the entrance in towards Freezer. They're trying to find a way through. You've got one player looking for the backstab out towards the other side. Of course, it's none other than Shaiko, but he's really got to win that bakery fight to start putting pressure on site itself.
A big part of the problem is that BDS have lost the Grim. So how do they challenge into VIP? They can't really restrict that player anymore. If they could have sent the Grim Bees in there, then maybe they're able to swing him. They're able to clear that position. But right now, Virtue is pretty safe and locked in inside of VIP. He can start using those toxic babes to prevent a push into Freezer. Leakafak has managed to get himself in there. Breeder is in from the opposite side. So right now, BDS building a little bit of a pinch, and they might just be able to start finding some kills, Des.
When they've done that, they've found 2 here. Shaiko's down to 1 HP, which is so unfortunate. Gets Pokeball out. Savage takes him onto the belt, but 2 kills fly through from Virtue. Secret, they do hold on, but my God, for a second there, it really looked like BDS might get that one over the line.
Secret were a little bit lucky. Like I said, Leakafak he did exactly what Secret did to get inside of Freezer. He just took the sprint across, and Virtue wasn't ready for it, couldn't make the challenge. So then you've got Leakafak working from Freezer, you've got Breeder on the Monty working in from Prep, and all of a sudden, Secret were struggling. They were floundering inside a side, and BDS took advantage of it. But what I like from Secret, they dug deep, they managed to steady the ship, and they got themselves back into the fight, got the kills they needed. They secure their 2nd round. Lots more work to be done though, Des.
You talk about bouncing out of bed in the morning, but you are basically bouncing on this board. I feel like I'm on a trampoline. Someone's got to bounce back on the side of Secret. Still 4 more rounds to find. If they want to keep this one going, and fair to say, with one going the way of BDS and that last one being dangerously close, it is still a long way to the top. Speaking of top, finding ourselves moving upwards here in towards Fireplace and Reading. Same story we spoke about so many times, Tim. Top floor control is a big one, and likely look for a plant just inside of Reading Door to the north, up towards Snowside and towards Brown Stairs. But that means getting cocktail control. It means getting control of Piano. And we've seen where Secret have tried to hold off there already with the Azami before. BDS crushed it excellently. It's more about the pace and the slowdown here that you'll see Secret looking for. And hopefully this time round, not be giving away 2 or 3 players trying to challenge those reverse vertical angles.
There is absolutely a world where Secret can get themselves back into this realistically. Gruby and Virtue now starting to find their pace a little bit. Doom getting involved. They just need that next round or two. If this gets to kind of 6-4, you start looking at it and saying that it becomes a lot more doable. But right now, it's a case of focusing on 1 round at a time. Shaiko on the Nomad, of course, with the Deimos being banned out. That's usually his next go-to operator. It's going to allow air jabs to be deployed, and they'll be able to lock down that flank. They won't need to worry about any pressure coming up the red stairs. They can take top floor, not worry about white stairs, and then start working the verticals. But before they can do any of that, they're going to have to find Gruby.
I really want to be careful here. They've got 2 players dancing on the Piano windows, and for Secret, it's so tempting then to get aggressive around Piano and be trying to deny things away, but it only takes 1 forgotten angle, 1 window that you're not watching at the wrong time, and you lose a freebie. You had Leakyback also dancing around the east side. I'd love to jump out here as well to give them a little bit of information on what's going on, but do they dare jump out here? Do they really want to step up to Leakyback? And yes, they do. I thought he hit him then, but no, it was the Claymore. Adrian falling down. You might get the intel of the player, but clearly missed the Claymore.
For a second, I really thought Leakyback had hit the shot there, Tess. I thought that is absolute. At that point,
one more?
At that point, just switch it off. But Leakyback, he knows that there's one on the white window. Just going to take that Akiba barricade out immediately. Out goes another, and this time they will manage to find him. Savage takes down Leakyback 4v4, but again, BDS alert. They've got the answers. They take him down on his way back in. It's just trade for trade at the minute, Des, and BDS come out on top once again.
I'd love to have the number on how many trades they're finding in this game, because every single time a BDS player goes down, it feels there is a secret secret player goes down, there is a BDS body nearby to get the trade back on the other side. It has been wonderful to watch. BDS with the 3 versus 2, a minute still to play. It feels to him like Kafe really should be ending 7-2.
Yeah, BDS, they still don't have confident control over top floor. They've got Doom floating about on white stairs at the minute, so there's always the chance that he pushes up and gets aggressive. Now that they've forced him back, BDS are going to have a lot more freedom up there on the top floor, but I'm looking at their soft destruction options, and they're limited, Dave. They're a lot more limited now that Virtue finds users. That's the shotgun that they had taken off the board. 25 seconds left to go. This could be tough for BDS to get a plant.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of the drone that was sat on white, so Doom is still being a nuisance, finally finished off. Virtue's got to basically find a 3K here to keep Secret in on Kafe. Rounding in towards Reading Door. I don't think they know Tim. They've got the long angle. Season's man! But yet again, BDS are there with the trade. They take Kafe in style. 7-2. The Secret have got to find some answers, I'm afraid.
I think we've just seen a little bit more than 70% out of BDS, Des. Like I said, I wanted to see that line of users, Solotov, Leakyback, really stretching their legs and putting some numbers up. They have done exactly that. And Breede's got in on the party as well. Fantastic performance from BDS in the first map, and that has surely got to put a little bit of fear into Team Secret.
Well, we were hoping for a Skyscraper map 3 all the way to round 15, but this one, at least based on how that has gone, Team could be far shorter. Let's go to the desk and see what they make of that game.
Well, what I think of that game is it was quick. It wasn't as quick as the Sonics game, but that was an utter dominant performance here. And very scary for the future prospect of this best of 3, Jack.
Yeah, it's exactly what we said might happen in this map ban phase, where BDS were picking into the perma ban of Team Secret. Now, interestingly, Leo, Secret started on attack.
Yeah, and that's for me is a huge surprise. Huge surprise. Why? Look at the result of this.
Yep.
They only got 1 attack in 6 rounds. And the reason for this is big desyncs. You see one getting aggressive, you see the rest of the team playing passive. All the time they've been trying to play that default playstyle that we know and still bring the Monty. And still they're getting picked 1 by 1 and 0 trading. Look at this. There was a drone there. He still gets the pick. That's consistent for me.
It started off with that very first round where Jumas are married into the white window, and I thought, hey, we've got a game here. We've got a game. Secret are back. They're going to play a little bit cheesy. They're going to play together. They're going to really be very disruptive to BDS's setups. And it wasn't like that. It felt like each round on their attacks, there was a couple of players getting aggressive, a couple of players playing a little bit passive, maybe a little bit nervous, and a big desync. Now, when a team chooses to start attack on a defender-sided map, the reason being is they know that they're going to weather a little bit of a storm. If Secret would got out of that with a 2-4, a 3-3 maybe, it's very much recoverable. But a 1-5 on a map that traditionally they don't play, that we've never seen them play on, with this roster, was a huge risk, and they suffered for it.
Leo, we got the answer to the question I posed at the very start, which is this a perceived insta-ban, or is this an actual insta-ban? I think we figured out pretty quickly for Secret.
Yeah, that was very obvious that they were very far in terms of quality from BDS, and I think I'm really afraid about the next map because it's kind of the same story. When I look at BDS right now, I see a unit. I see them playing together. We said that was the win condition for them, starting to play together, not rely on individuals. You look at that round 3, basement on kitchen, when they rework at the same time and they retake entirety, they kill everyone on the bomb site. That's the composure and team play we expect from them, and that's what they've showed today.
Well, BDS are only one map away from securing their semi-final. We'll go to Lair after this.
Ouais, choc-les, choc-les, ouais, choc-les, 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 ouais, voilà ce qu'ils me disent, les entends parler et ils m'édisent, j'arrête que pour rafler la mise, petit pas sur la piste et le succès je l'ai pisté, disent que la place du premier, fais monter la côté, sur moi tu mises gros, tu connais déjà l'équipe, ça criera au complot, je prends le double, on est quitté, je fais la magie des chiffres. La somme je la triple, la concurrence la dribble et le stade est en délire, ça fait choquer, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché, gauche, droite, esquive rageux, coach m'a rajouté du temps de jeu, dans l'action ouais je me sens en feu, je suis on fire, je fais la différence au compteur, money time ça shoot sur le buzzer, je suis on fire, choqué, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché, j'arrive pour tous les choquer, toute la foule elle est choquée, j'espère que t'es accroché.
Welcome back to the Blast R6 Montreal Major. Everybody having a good time out here? Yeah, I thought so. I said, is everybody having a good time out here? Of course you are. It's a major, baby. And the best thing about it is you meet fans from all over the place. I'm getting pulled. When I come out here, it's like, hey, and who do you think's going to win? And Jerome, who's actually from Montreal, pulled me just up there to have a bit of a conversation. And you are having the time of your life. Just tell us your story about how you made it to your first ever major.
So I think I've been watching the game since around 2017, 2018, during the Penta G2 dominance era. And, you know, life's been going pretty bad a bit. And then now I finally got my life together, got a job and everything, and finally decided to come to the major. And it's a great event, really competitive. Seeing a lot of 7-5s, 8-6s, a lot of close games since Swiss. And it's been a really fun time, fun environment. Got to meet a ton of pros. It's great. I love the major.
So Jerome, you hit your first paycheck and the first thing you did was buy tickets to the major.
Of course.
Come on, guys, give it up for Jerome. I love it. So I've got to ask you, who do you think's going to win this thing and who do you want to win the thing? It can be two different things, right?
Of course. I think FaZe is going to win, but the team I really want to win is probably Secret, just because Jake's there. I love Virtue since he's been on G2. Big fan, Virtue, if you can hear me. But
he's locked in.
I know he's locked in. He's always locked in. He's always serious. But I think FaZe Clan's going to win.
All right, good stuff. The real winner here is Jerome. One more time for this wonderful human being to the right of me. Thank you very much. Go enjoy the rest of the major. You absolutely deserve it. Back to you guys on the desk.
Well, shout out Jerome and shout out Ian Chambers from the radio. Let's get underway with our second map here. This one is scary. There's a scary prospect that's kind of hidden underneath this because, Leo, what we just saw on Kafe could very easily follow suit onto Lair here.
It's the first time we'll see BDS play Lair, so that's a big question mark. But what I want to point out is just how good this team has been playing collectively. One great example, look at Savage here with the Monty going to plant here on kitchen bomb site. And I want you to pay attention to the Warden. Look at Yuzus now and Ella on the right side. They will retake all 4 players at the same time. Triple kill in the amount of what? 2-3 seconds, and that's it. They got the round. That's 3-2-1, set play, instant composure, and instant team play from BDS.
Our biggest criticism for EUL is BDS rely on their individual talent. We've challenged them to step it up during this tournament, have that team play, have them shot calling, have those moments where you look unstoppable. That was another one of them. And if you're going to say, why are BDS going to win this event? It is clips like that that will do it. And I think the map that we're going into as well in terms of Lair, we saw BDS pick into Secret's perceived permaban, and it turned out to be a permaban. I don't think for BDS, Lair is a permaban. I think they've been saving it. So this pick from Team Secret feels quite risky right at this moment in time.
What's your thoughts on Lair?
I 100% agree with Jack. Let's be real. You know, we agree very often, but let's be real.
We like to disagree as well.
Yeah, we like to disagree. One point was, why did BDS waited so long to bring Lair? They were together. They were one of the only European team that do not make any roster changes after EWC. They had plenty of time to bring it. They took the proper time to play, scrim it, bring it at the top level, keep it safe all the way for the major quarterfinals. Let me tell you, I'm 100% convinced they have the top layer.
When we spoke to them in EUL, we asked, it was Eagle Knees and I think it was Brude in a duo interview when they was out there at bootcamp. And we said, guys, are you going to bring Lair out? Do you play Lair? And Eagle Knees went, oh, we might bring it out at some point. He's like, actually, no, it's our permaban. And he was trying to give the teams the eyes, you know. So we feel that BDS will play Lair. Obviously, they did have the tournament in the summer that they ended up playing that maybe hindered a little bit of development on that. So they've waited to see who's the best team on Lair. They've allowed everyone else to look at it. And then they've built up their own Lair, unbeknown to us, because we've not seen them on Lair. It's the first time they'll play it. And then they bring it out, like you say, when it matters. Yep. They don't want to have to gamble on a round 15 Skyscraper to get them through this fixture. They want to get it done in 2.
Absolutely. Well, every great quarterfinal needs great casters. Unfortunately, we don't have the funding for that, so we've got Des and Ace.
I was so tempted to
Why
stand
am I
there with my-
taking shots?
I get it for me. I was already standing my middle fingers up saying, screw you, Rob, but hey, here we go. Onwards we march, map 2, Lair awaits. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see the host of Lair, Deimos, coming through once again. I would expect it to get banned away against Shaiko, but all of you on the social side are still leaning more towards BDS. A 3% increase towards their side. Totally understandable, Tim, given how things have played out so far.
Yeah, I think given what we've seen, you know, out of that first map, you're going to be looking at it thinking this is potentially a problem. So the only question now is, can Secret fight their way back into this one, Des? It's BDS versus Team Secret. It's map 2, and we could well have another semi-finalist at the end of this one.
Lair, as you say, one of those maps that we've seen a lot across regions around the world, but I think once you get to LAN, it starts to hit a little bit different. And knowing this one is one of those permaban maps that we've not really had a chance to see coming out from BDS, hopefully Secret can capitalize on the chaos.
Let's get into those operator bans then. BDS will be banning first of
Blitz,
all, just
surely.
like they did last time. Blitz, surely, followed by Deimos, surely. We would expect to be the 2. I mean, I don't know, maybe Secret bring us something a little bit different. Given the way that it went the first map, I really wouldn't want to go up against Shaikos on Deimos, if I'm honest.
No. Equally terrifying as we've seen him play many, many times, and as said, you will not be seeing the host of this map present. He's one of those players, unfortunately, just draw away this very specific ban. Legion normally follows him on the defensive side. Secret did ban that away against him in the last best of 3 that they played against BDS, at least in a couple of the maps. Here, it's going to be the smoke being taken away. Quite a spicy ban to come out.
Not one that we see too often, absolutely. Smoke, of course, used primarily for area denial and time denial at the end of a round especially, trying to prevent that diffuser going down. Mirror will be the next and last ban that we will have come through as well. BDS not wanting to play into that. It's going to open up that top floor on attack a little bit potentially. We see the mirror played out towards Ops, for example, to stop the push coming in through there. We see it played sort of R6 room to stop the push from that side on that top floor side. So it might just make attacking things there a little bit easier. But BDS, of course, starting on the defense, they're going to have a plan to work around not having that utility themselves.
Do you find the smoke ban really interesting? It's, you think about BDS, you think about BDS as soon as you hear smoke, and it's not really been an operator that picked up much. I think BDS's played it just 3 times across the entire major so far, and it's not like BDS have been drawing smoke bans to kind of pad that stat out. It's just not really been an operator they've had to lean on. So a couple of question marks on my side as to why that's their go-to, but when they've had the information blackout and they've had rounds slowed down for them back on Kafe, I think it's more a way to make sure things can keep on moving, because like on Kafe, there are a few bottlenecks, a few single doorways that you have to go pushing through on this map. Smoke, of course, really good at denying away 1 or 2 of those at the same time. But BDS, they start on the defense, we start on the top floor. And Secret, I hope to God they've got a better attacking half than what they had back on Kafe.
They've got, there's a clash. BDS have brought along the ultimate counter shield operator by bringing one of their own. Of course, up against the Monty, Clash will generally win out over any sort of protracted battle between the two, because their electricity from the shield will do damage through Monty's shield. So something that Secret need to be aware of and need to deal with. Just looking at what utility they've really got to deal with that Clash, and it's a little bit limited, Des. They don't have something like the Zephyr on side or the Carly that can initiate that shield break onto the Clash, and it could be a tough one. The Grimby, they're not really going to do it, because the Clash will just happily stand there behind the shield. It doesn't matter that you know where she is.
Well, started out with good progress on this top floor as well. Got ourselves the mask wall opened up that normally is a big sticking point for teams. You'll see it electrified away, tuber out away, but it has been opened up, if not slightly resealed here by the Azami. Thank you very much, observers, for the fly-through. The other side of it is a little bit harder to open up because you need to get meds control. That means getting the ops control, and starting to put pressure onto Shaiko and Solotov, who are currently dancing around that part of the map. So you've taken the easy part, and now it's about the hard part. Where does the next push start to coming from? It looks to be highway, actually, up towards the north. More things being opened up. Secret so far for me, doing good work. They've got open what they need, and now it's about not losing players to silly things.
Yeah, the next step is going to be dealing with that Clash, and I like this attempt of getting underneath with the book, but you're going to have to get closer to the feet of that shield operator if you want any opportunity to take them down or to force Brede back. But by at least opening up the floor, it might just prevent him being that operator that wants to push forward onto there. But as soon as he does once and realizes there's nobody underneath to shoot him, he won't mind.
Well, Savage is already on the R6 room door and starting to press his way forward. Now you've got to face off against this Clash, but they've got to be respectful of display side, and Users has gone down to the window. That was what they needed to let this plan go through. Now 2 players are storming on through for a little bit of a retake, but on site itself, it's all gone up Secret. Plant is down, Leaky Fat one more back over, but Secret have got the numbers, Tim.
Yeah, really, really good attack from Secret. They've just gone in, taken what they've needed, got their shield into a space to plant, and right now, Leaky Fat, he's on a huge back foot here. We talk about him being potentially one of the best players in the world at the minute, but it was going to take something special to clutch that one out. Secret have come back into map 2 looking like a different team there, Des.
I think they've just played it. Hello, friends. Really good push coming in because they got control of highway, made sure they had someone covering off the display window, and then just simply a Monty gets the shield up, walks across and goes down and plant. And everything is covered off by the rest of his team. They can't come flanking in from the display door because there's someone sat on the window. They've got players actually sat up towards highway, making sure no one can push close to the Monty and swing him. Really simple, really to the point, but it gets the job done. And you've always got the fear, of course, of the backstab coming in through the mass wall that got opened up very early on. So not the best start for BDS there. Secret knew exactly what their game plan was, and BDS, I think, just got pulled from pillar to post by their opponents. Now we go down to the basement, mind you. This does now mean a full map clear needs to come out from Secret. And that was what they struggled with a little bit back on Kafe. There was so much intel denial, That's what I'm looking for.
Well, the bigger question really is, Des, do BDS play that full map defense? We haven't seen them play Lair before, and it's not something that we would normally expect too much of them. They'd maybe send one person out there on the roam. They don't usually commit to it too heavily. So it might be that Team Secret have got a lot of time to attack here if they recognize that and potentially get themselves in quickly. At the minute, I think there's only one, like I say, from BDS that have got themselves out there. It's Users on the mute at the minute. He is going to be joined by Leakifax, so that's two of them out there on the first floor. They haven't gone as far as top floor, and as I say that, Users drops himself back down. So Team Secret have got space, they've got time.
Well, think about Kafe, right? They didn't really have players up on the top floor when defending that. They had them on that second floor and then fell back down to the first. And it's a similar sort of story here, especially when you're leaning in behind something like the Pulse plus a couple of C4s to play behind. Your goal is to play denial more into the mid-round than it is to get aggressive in the early, especially when you've got a Monty bearing down on you as well. But let's think about the times when Savage fell down early back on Kafe. He needs to be staying alive through this game, and that's why I think with the Dokkaebi on side, they'll have a much easier time of things.
I like what Leakifax doing. He's off screen at the minute, but he's just playing for the walk-in from Ops. That's what he's expecting. He's expecting this top floor push to come across, Secret clear top down. He's got Nitro in hand, he's got cardiac sensor, and he can potentially stop them if they do it. But right now, Secret, they're not leading in towards that, Des. And right now, they're just working their way around BDS quite nicely.
And that's it. You haven't got to go super crazy on this as well and try and force these early engagements. Just forcing BDS back can be enough. You've got a Monty, you'll have the vertical control. When the diffuser goes down on this site, by the way, and you've got vertical control, it is almost impossible to lose. That's the sort of position they're looking for, and I think the Monty once again will enable that step into more precarious situations to deal with the slightly dodgier sight lines that now BDS will be holding, and Leakifax has found Groovy, and immediately you see Leakifax back away. He's not pressing forward, trying to collect more. He's happy. They've got the Dokkaebi, one of the go-to operators they really needed in this execute.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem for Team Secret there has come because maybe they've assumed that BDS would turtle up on site, and they haven't managed to pick up on deal with Leakifax. Monty will continue this push forward. Nitro goes out. It's not going to do the job completely, but Shaiko is there to complete it. Finding a headshot onto the Monty. Savage is gone. 5 versus 3. It's looking better for BDS, but Secret come back fighting with Adrian.
They really can't be letting him get away with that drop behind them. Shaiko's got such a powerful position now that the entire west and southwest side is off limits to them. They've got to make it all work on this single push through, and Solotov and Brede, nasty shots that they hit, both headshots, single shots to the skull. And like that, well, June, you might be having a good tournament, buddy, but I don't know about 1v4 good.
The real question is, if you're Secret in that situation, how do you do anything about that? Adrian's watching the angle. Shaiko's going to pick up that final kill, but Adrian, before his death, is there watching the angle. And Solotov just swings across and headshots him. There's nothing that you can do about that if you're going to be beaten so quickly by these BDS players. So not a bad start for BDS. Secret with a great top floor attack. BDS come back with a great bottom floor defense. I love the way that they used Leakifax to prevent that top floor walk-in, but then he was able to keep himself around range and just make it difficult for Secret to get confidently into that mid-floor. Got a great opener, and BDS just built from there.
For me, it was Shaiko again, just getting that drop in behind them. Like, you should never be able to get in that position where you have no idea that he's there. Like, sure, you're not looking in towards things like Nomad or Gridlock to keep those flanks safe, but you've got to know that your Monty is sort of the linchpin of your defense, of your attack, sorry. You've got to be protecting him, whether it's flank drones, having someone sat on them. They've been bitten a couple of times by this. Think about the free kill they got onto Groovy from bottom white back on Kafe despite a drone watching. It's not that Secret haven't got drones in the right place at the right times. It's more that no one's watching them, or they're simply not communicating quickly enough, and BDS are punishing them hard for that. Now we go up to that second floor, so not as much map to cover, but you've still got to fight your way through this top floor, get the verticals opened up, and then start thinking about your execute.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work for Secret to do. They didn't really play too much of the map last time. The limit to the verticality that they opened up was inside of reception. You feel like they're going to need a little bit more, although of course this time there is a little external wall that leads into sight. There is pressure that can be applied, and straight away, no surprises, Secret are already there. They're going to be looking for the breach. It's just a great way, even if you're not actively going to play on there, just to create that phantom pressure that we talk about, to make BDS worried about standing in that side of sight, to force them back away and to start to create a little bit of space. But But top floor clearance also important for Secret. They recognize that. They get the wall open outside of Mask, and they can then start walking on in and forcing BDS away from the top floor.
Yeah, that mass wall being opened up gives you so much threat itself across the center rooms on this top floor, which make it very difficult for BDS to be able to play in there, especially when a Monty can just walk up on you like this, as you'll see him often come to do. Spots out the goo mine, that's taken down to not impede him as he gets on the march through. And just to be doubly sure, opening up this as well gives you a nice angle down towards Mez itself and through in towards those sites to support a Mask entry. My main concern, though, is Secret are taking quite a bit of time here just to get some control on this top floor. And BDS, well, not exactly being moved. You've still got Leakafak and Usus dancing around up here.
No, they're pretty settled at the minute, BDS, but Secret, it's all about now softening up the site, clearing out utility, recognizing where everybody is, and formulating a game plan as to how you get on in and where that diffuser is going to be going down. Until they can do that, though, they've got to get this top floor confidently under their control. We've still got the Monty moving around, not going to be caught by the Nitro, and it does help Secret out a little bit. It gives some verticals down into sight.
A nice attempt there to catch the Monty, but he double backed on himself, so gets away with that, taking a single scratch from the C4. Time again being my main fear. They've got no way also of opening up the hatch. They can't drop in through this late. They can purely use this top floor, really, for the verticals, and that's all they've got to play behind. Otherwise, it's going to be a push, as you might expect, more down towards green stairs and starting a march on forwards. I think Gruby's the one really I'm looking towards here in that position to make something happen, but Diffuser is in the back pocket as Savage. He, again, is the linchpin of this attack, and they need to get something happening.
Just going to have the nanobots called on in from the Finker just to give a little bit of a boost to the HP for the time being for their team before they go in for any of these challenges. But like you said, there's 30 seconds left to go. It's now or never, really. This has got to be the push coming forward, as it is. Savage is going to try to walk on in, but Leakafak from behind manages to find the shield, and you know that it's falling apart for Secret, but it's kill after kill to keep themselves in it. It's 1v1. It's Gruby versus Users. 13 seconds left to go. Gruby does have Diffuser in hand, so he can play around here with Users, try and draw him into the fight on his terms. He's gonna stick it. Users is there, but Gruby, he's guns up, Des. He can take this challenge and he can win it with the pistol. That is the sort of performance that Secret need from each and every one of their players here if they want to continue fighting against BDS.
Extremely well played 1v1. A lot of confidence from Gruby as well. We know that the saying stands as pros don't fake. They won't come off the diffuser. I've seen so many do it so far throughout the competition. But he holds on, and winning out the 1v1 was mega. But for me, I'll come back to the same problem that I touched on Kafe. Savage, they aren't aware of Leakafak. He gets a freebie on towards the Monty. You can't be letting that happen when you're coming in towards these pushes. Fortunate to walk away with 2 versus 1, or 2 for 1 on the attack so far. But for me, small mistakes that still need to be course corrected.
They've got away with one.
Here, that shouldn't be happening.
Realistically, they've got away with one. You know, that's how we've got to look at it. Gruby 1v1, don't get me wrong, not taking anything away from him. He's done a great job, gets the diffuser down, finds the final kill, but they can't be letting it get to that 1v1 when they've got a Monty that's able to push on in. They can't be losing the shields that easily. BDS, so far, have stood up very well to the shield pushers. They've effectively got 3 more rounds to do that, and it could be the last 3 rounds of this match that they have to deal with the shields, because if they get the win here on Lair, of course, there will be no more rounds for Team Secret to bring them, but we will see how we go. We're going to go ahead up to the top floor once again. It's going to be BDS. Really nice attack from Secret last time around. They got themselves the mask wall open. They got themselves the R6 room side. They got into sight, got the diffuser down, and they just created a beautiful line of sight across the site that they couldn't allow BDS across. And they just completely shut them down when they tried. Diffuser went down. Secret may well look to just do more of the same.
You got the Amaro on side, and I'm the kind of person, Tim, I'm a simple man. I see Amaro getting picked up, I get a little bit excited, because it normally means something crazy is about to happen. We saw it happen last time around here, a little bit of a different story. Trying to open it at exactly the same time the wall's coming in, Candelas are out, so it's a big combo, and June, sure enough, has stepped in and brought down the Demon King, Shaiko himself.
That's a great start, the Azami gone, but the bandit trick could be important. Pride managed to take down 1 exothermic. The second has now detonated. Mask wall is open, but it puts a little bit more pressure on Virtue here on the ace. He's now essential if they want to push that opposite side, because he's the only hard breach option realistically left. They've got the gadgets on the Ying, but it's not going to give you a method of getting into sight, really. It's much more of a line of sight. You can go through there, but you get stuck in the animation, so they will want those Selmas breaching that wall.
What I do like from Secret here, you think back on Kafe a couple of times, they'd find the entry and keep on trying to move forward with that information and pay the price for it. Here they've got rid of Shaiko, they've got Ops, really little cute play by the way, coming out with the Amara and the Ying in tandem, and immediately they've kind of paused. Right, back on drones, where are these last few players? They're not giving away lives needlessly, and that is a really good evolution for Z for them here on Lair, although at that point Savage almost lost his life on the push on through. BDS inside, but very much pinned down, they know exactly where he is. 3 kills, and Secret are bowling over BDS.
Beautiful attack from Secret there. Got Virtue into the position they needed him, opened up that wall, and it was go time. The Candelas go in. Savage has a little bit of good fortune there. Almost gets caught out by BDS, but ultimately, Secret, a good 3-2-1. In they go, kill after kill. They were all on point, all on the same page. Beautiful stuff. So much so, Des, it forces the tactical timeout out of BDS, and we might, just might, have a little bit more of a game on our hands.
I think we will. That first map, as we know, was an absolute slaughter, but this one is feeling very much the reverse. Secret looking very put together, not without a couple of mistakes along the way, but I think when they say go, whether it's a small micro play or the ending round execute, they are moving as one team. And I think for BDS, you can kind of see why Lair's a permaban. They look a little bit lost as to what's going on. They don't know what to expect coming out of the other side, and they're paying the price. Being down 3-1 on the defensive side of Lair is a bit of a stinger. It's our 4th highest defensive win rate over stage 2 in the major so far. So I think they're expecting themselves to really have 2 or 3 rounds in the bank at this point. Instead, it's the reverse scoreline, and BDS have got to find an answer. Otherwise, they're in for a very rough rest of this map.
What a great response from Team Secret. Let's not take that away from them either. 7-2 on Kafe, and it wasn't even really very competitive. BDS were, well on top. And
I know that guy.
Here. We do.
Hey, Alex.
And then we come in here, and all of a sudden, Secret have dug deep. Whatever has been said in that break between maps, whatever has been said by Twister between Kafe and coming in here to Lair, it's really doing the job. We questioned BDS, of course, not a map we've seen them play. It's kind of felt that maybe they'd been covering it up, maybe they'd been hiding it, wanting to bring it out. And we've got to see them on the attack yet, but right now, Secret's certainly showing that they have a better command of Lair.
You hear so many pro teams talking about the size of the map pool, saying, 9 is a lot of maps to be able to prep and be good at. We'd rather it come down to 7. We're like, nope, let's find a map or 2 that you struggle at, because it shows that even gods can bleed. Again, BDS, as Ian said during their intro today, best team in the world on paper. You come to a map like Lair and you show them up a little bit and show that maybe they aren't quite infallible and there's something you can prove against them. Secret are doing just that. Immediately, the thing that I clocked though with BDS has changed after that attack timeout. The Tubarão and the Kai pairing coming together here. They want to shut Secret out here, keep them slowed down, keep them guessing and run that clock closer towards 0. For me, it's keeping an eye on Savage. He's been picked off so many times on this Monty in the mid-round. They really want to make sure, as we saw back in their first top floor attack, that he can be so effective for them in the execute. So let's keep him alive into the late round and not see him falling down to the French side.
Team Secret this time looking to get themselves into warehouse pretty quickly. They've got that external wall breached, and that's the position of Savage on the Monty, looking to get aggressive. Just looking across the side of BDS as well, all down in the basement level. There are no roamers out in the map this time that Team Secret need to worry about. So again, Team Secret, they need to recognize that quickly, go in and start those verticals. They are going to have a little bit more freedom this time than they maybe did last time. Leakerfact, he was able to hit them on that mid-floor. He was able to do some damage, but that's not likely to be the case this time around. They're reliant on a couple of nitros here, BDS, to be able to have any impact in the first half of this round.
Looking at things so far, it's also the build-up in confidence, I think, from Secret. They're finding 3 of our 4 entries so far. We've had a couple of 3Ks coming out from Virtue and Doom. Groovy one is 1 versus 1. It's fair to say they're online. They're hitting their shots. They're winning out these clutch situations that simply was not a thing back on Kafe. We expected it coming into the series when we saw the ban phase as well, knowing that we were going to either team's permaban. It was always going to be spicy. Solotov picked off by Groovy to start things off here. And immediately Shaiko's forced back. At least this round, Tim, they've got an idea on where Shaiko is. So I was going to say, at least they know so he can't stab him in the back. And he does a 1 versus 1 against a Monty. What on earth is that?
It doesn't always matter if you know where Shaiko is, it's whether you can do anything about it that is usually the question, and the answer there was no, they could not. 3 versus 4, and Team Secret, what was starting out to be a really great round, have allowed themselves again to be punished from that backstab. Doom does eventually now get a trade onto Shaiko. Could the damage be done? Virtue, he picks up Leakerfact, 2 versus 2, and again, Team Secret have been able to fight their way back into this one.
Not buckets of time to play with, and as I mentioned, you've not got the Monty on side, you've got Goo Mines to run through, a C4 still in back pocket. I feel like BDS have got all the right tools here to get this one done, but you never know when it comes down to these 1v1 gunfights, right? Sort of idea for Doom. Off towards his right-hand side is one player. Not that right-hand side, mate. The next one across. Planet's going down here. He's got to win it, but no. Users collects it out. One more back on side. Can Virtue, with all his experience, win this 1 versus 1? Why would they decide to Users give it over? A C4 over the top. Finds his man. And Users wins out the 1v1. BDS on the board again.
Super cool from Users there, not going to be panicked by the fact that the plant was going down, doesn't have to take the challenge directly, just sends over the explosives to do the job, and BDS keep themselves fighting in this one. Secret, it was a great start to the round from them. Groovy opened things up with a beautiful kill from the window, and it just started creating a lot of space, especially the second. The big thing for Secret here, Des, is they have to stop those backstabs coming in. They've lost the Monty to being shot in the back twice in a row. It cannot continue.
The thing is, Shaiko's in front of his base then. That's why I was being like, at least now they know where Shaiko is. He can't possibly shoot him in the back. And what does he do? Just shoots him in his face. And I'm just like, how on earth has a Monty gone down to a player directly in front of him there? I mean, it is Shaiko, but even he shouldn't be able to make that happen. And it's another lost opportunity, I feel. And I get Secret really want to make the Monty work. I'd really like him to step away from it here because they've only really seen success with it up on that top floor.
Yeah, as you say, really doubling down on it. It's going to be 6 rounds in a row. Savage will bring along the Monty. Let's see whether Secret can get that final little bit of value that they need out of him or not. They're going to be wanting to take this 4-2. If they can do, looking at the defensive half, again, we don't really know what to expect too much out of BDS once they get themselves onto the attack. So it's certainly going to be a fascinating round 7 and 8. See whether they can be as effective as Team Secret have been at times here or not. But if Secret can get themselves the advantage, I'm sure they'll be pretty confident they can take Lair if they 4-2 up at the half.
Let's see if we can get to that 4-2 with BDS. To be fair, if they can crawl it back to a 3-3, it will feel like that attack timeout was worth its weight in gold. 2 rounds in a row, they would have bounced back at this point. Leaker back in this round, rocking that castle that was banned away from them back on Kafe. Always love seeing castle being brought along on the defensive side. I think it can really transform how so many sides are played, at least until those castle barricades are taken out by these Flores Roteros, as you can see, raining on through. Opens up on maps like Border really interesting angles for defenders to be able to use, safe havens of passage to get back towards site as the round plays out. For example, here though, I think more intended to impede the side of Secret, but so far their answer to it has been pretty good.
Again, Secret just continuing to sweep through the map, try and get themselves that control that they want. Top floor is slowly turning over to them, and they can start their vertical work before too long at all. That's going to be the next step for them. And you can hear the boogie drones are going off. That work does begin, and they can start putting that little bit of pressure from ops down on into sight.
It's that classic battle of how much ground are you willing to give up as BDS versus how much do you want to contest.
Yep.
You've given it the top floor, but you're now trying to play verticals. Okay, now the boogie's going to deny that away from you. And just like that, Leak Effect steps forward, looking for a fight upstairs and almost loses his life for it. Again, how much ground do you want to give up here? Yeah, keep that HP or your lives on side versus how much do you want to contest? Still 75 seconds to play here, and every single player is still alive, Tim.
Adrian's just moving down the stairway at the minute. Secret, I'm just watching Solotov out of the corner of my eye on our top down because he's just holding himself off to one side of the map here near green stairs, and I just get a big feeling that Solotov is going to play a bit of a spoiler here again. Secret, if they're unaware, they're going to get hit with a backstab. They're going to get hit on the flank, and it is something that they definitely need to be improving. For the time being, Savage has been able to make a little bit of progress. Just trying to get a bit more aggressive now. 38 seconds left to go, going in towards site. Groupie takes down users. Solotov needs to start making a move. He will head over. How much will of an impact will he have, though? That's the question.
Well, straight into this back corner here with the plant now going down. He's got that cross, this time with the Monty and the smokes coming out, and no one to stop them. Leaky Fat, those coming on the cross, but Adrian had been sat on rocket stairs for basically the entire round, protects his planter, and that is another well-executed round coming out from Secret. That one, Tim, reminded me a lot of round one, where everything was so well put together, and BDS were basically sat on their hands waiting to see what happened and did not have a response.
Yeah, that was really good. It was clinical from Secret, to be honest. They were confident that they'd just lock down. What they're doing is they're locking down the lines of sight that they need to be able to create safe spaces. Yeah, then get your diffuser in, put it down on the ground, and nobody can interfere with it. They can't get across that cover. Solotov, like I say, BDS, they tried to keep him just out by green stairs, keep him off the radar to be able to have that late flank, but really all it did was leave BDS a man short through the round because he had no impact. As he tried to come back, his rotate had been cut off, and that was that. So Secret 4-2 half, they get themselves onto defense. Round 7 is going to be super telling here, Des, because are BDS going to come in and just be absolute demons on the attack of Lair, or are Secret going to be able to just get this locked down?
All caught by our observer, I'll give it to them. Savage here is hiding. You might wonder, well, why is he lying down behind a desk? It's hopeful that the drones coming in from the attackers wouldn't spot him out. They don't bring along something to help deal with the electrification. He can be a real bugger to try and deal with. But I think they've realized that it's a thing now on side. Nothing really in the lineup you look at and say, oh, that's there to deal with it. Unless it's micro EMPs, of which there are. You've got that in the back pocket of Bride on the Monty. Let's see how he fares on the shields compared to how we saw Savage weaponizing it back in that first half.
In reality, though, Impact TMPs versus a Bandit is a tough matchup. The Bandit should really be coming away, keeping hold of that wall. I would be looking more towards Leakafak if they wanted to get Mask Wall in underneath. Explosive damage from the Zephyr, clear out that vertical angle, clear out the floorboards beneath Savage's feet.
Oh, nice.
And make it difficult for him to stay there.
That was a real small detail, but as impacting away, the Rotero does keep a barrier up. The battle really being, Shaiko's still got 3 more that he can play behind, but it's going to waste more time. It's still waiting for him to make use of all of those Roteros before they start trying to make any push forward in towards the map itself. If that fails, they've got things like the Zofia impacts on side to help clear those out. So they have still got options here. Plus, of course, you can shoot those out, but there is always a massive risk associated with shooting them out. Does he know about the player off towards his right here? I don't know if they're aware at this point, Tim.
Adrian's just going to be holding his line on this window, and I think he might just get himself a freebie here if they try to move around from bathroom. But
never mind,
he's managed to pick 2 up elsewhere. Adrian will be challenged now, doesn't find his man, but it's not going to matter as Savage takes down Solotov, and this is looking round by round more and more a Team Secret map. They look solid on the defense of Lair. There's nothing that BDS have been able to do realistically, Des. They haven't impacted sight at all.
The thing is, they've tried to force 3 or 4 players up a single set of stairs, and when there's a clash on the other side holding you at bay, it's always going to sting. They've just basically danced around the shield and picked up 2 or 3 kills, Doom being the main assailant in that situation. For BDS, it's starting to look a bit ropey, Tim. They've got a 2 versus 5, and after this round, well, that'll be the scoreline at the top of your screen. 5-2 to Secret, and it feels like map 3 then begins to become a conversation.
Well, anybody who's familiar with EUL, of course, will remember that matchup between these two. It went to round 15 of Skyscraper in the playoff final of Stage 2, and it was a hell of a game. And I think when we saw Skyscraper picked up as the decider map, any neutral anywhere would have been looking at this, hoping that they would get the chance to see it. They can't deal with the clash.
This is horrible.
And they are punished as Leakafak taken down by Adrian. Very little now that users can do. He's just waiting for that challenge to come around the corner. 30 seconds left, manages to find one. But again, Secret have been timing things beautifully as a team. We've seen those 3-2-1 executes on attack, and now it's swinging together on defense. If he challenges you inside of the room, I'm gonna swing the corridor. I'm there, ready on mezzanine to challenge him. It was a no-win situation. BDS down 2-5.
I just thought that they had the Zofia to try and help deal with the clash. The clash was what terrorized them all round long. 4 of their kills came from the clash, basically walking at enemy players and then having 1 or 2 behind him, just swinging out at the right time. Really, really good stuff, and as mentioned, it was a bit of a battle to try and get anything done. Great play from Dream up towards Highway, and this is that boxing in around that topmost stairs that I was on about, that then made things really start to sing for the team. That's a beautiful 1-tap from Adrian as well. but really frustrating for the side of BDS. We're going to have to change things up yet again here and find a new solution. I think it's fair to say, though, Tim, we're seeing why Kafe and Lair with the permabans for both of these teams.
Yes, I think that is fair.
They're struggling is the best way of describing it.
You know, you look at it and having never seen BDS play Lair, you think, you know, maybe they've been holding on to it. Maybe they just wanted the opportunity to surprise somebody with the map when it mattered most. But it doesn't look the case, and it's unusual for BDS because their map pool is, you know, so deep, generally speaking. There's not really anywhere that you want to take this team. But looking at it now, I'm sure there's teams out there looking, thinking, well, you know, maybe we take them to Lair. Let's not forget, FaZe are waiting for the winner of this game. If BDS go through, FaZe are a good Lair team.
Imagine if Secret goes through enough to face off against FaZe as well. No one had that one on their bingo card, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, FaZe and BDS are probably the two teams that I've heard mentioned the most about teams that people expect to go. He's dead, mate, don't worry. Teams that they expect to go on and win the whole thing. FaZe and BDS, the two names that consistently, yeah, I've asked coaches of every single team, they were the two teams that were basically in every single answer. So that in itself could feel like a final before a final if it gets to that point, Tim.
Looking to breach directly into sight. Solotov
each other.
and Groovy do manage to pick each other up in a direct trade there, leaving BDS still with the advantage after Leakerpack was able to pick up that opener. Still working on the external side of things a lot here are BDS. They've been able to burn away that reinforcement with the Mavericks, so that will give them at least a little bit of access directly into sight. But interestingly, BDS not really playing towards the top floor too much at the minute, so that's something that Secret could potentially take advantage of.
The numbers advantage could hopefully be enough when you've got so much time to play with, though, right? 100 seconds to get the round closed out in a number dominant situation. Certainly no complaints on my side. And you've got things like the EMPs to negate Adrian's goggles at this point, which should help deal with things like flashes that come coming in from Brede and from Shaiko, or even the smokes from the Capital. I think as long as BDS are respectful of the Warden, this should be theirs for the taking.
Adrian and Virtue recognise right now that they are not being pressured whatsoever and they're being allowed to play up here on the top floor. The question is, can BDS find a spot inside a site to plant should they need to do so, or are they going to have to dip away? They need to be careful that they don't need to go to that top floor. They've got to have a plan, because if they do, they're going to run out of time. But as it is, Brede has gone in under the cover of smoke. Leakerpack is going to be taken down. There's no opportunity for Brede to start that plant yet, but with the kill onto Savage, surely the chance will be there. He will start to put it down, but they might just root, not getting top floor control as Adrian finds a third, and it's just death from above right now.
I think he's got the C4 on the hatch as well in case he needs to drop through it later on, but Users is probably wondering, where is safe? Where is this silent assassin from the top floor? Far too easy. I was going to say not a bad spot to be in, planted on green door, but turns out it's a terrible one. That's all the way through that middle floor. A great angle that he just found exposed ahead by the tiniest of angles, and it's a 4K for Adrian, a 1v2 to close things out, or a 1v3, sorry. What more can you ask for? We said that he came into this series as the lowest rated player, still remaining at the competition. He's putting on a show here on Lair.
Yeah, he's not going to care right now. Twister keeping the energy and the vibes up in the team there. Just that transfer of energy with the fist bumps after the round win, and it's all smiles on Team Secret. One way that you often beat BDS, Des, is to put them under pressure. We see them as a team sometimes struggle to come back in these situations and to fight their way back into it, especially on a map that they don't really look comfortable on. It was a huge mistake not taking top floor there. They've learned a valuable lesson, because Adrian, even in a 1v3, has been able to win that out because of that vertical superiority that he had. It was easy for him to prevent the plant, and then it was panic stations for BDS. What do we do now? They knew that he was up above. They had chosen not to deal with that area of the map throughout the round, and as I suggested it might, it came back to bite them.
Just for a bit of context as well, Adrian was 2-9 back on Kafe. Not the kind of showing you expect, but one that we're used to throughout this competition. Here, 13-4, and he pulls off that massive 4K to close things out too. 6-2, and it feels like we've got these mirrored results coming out. 7-2 on each of those maps, which means Skyscraper would have to await to see who moves through into tomorrow's semi-final. Do you dare to dream, Tim, of another round 15 Skyscraper end?
I think we all dare to dream of a round 15 end. Leakerpack, he ends Zoom in this one, picking up the opener. and giving BDS another advantage. It didn't matter in the last round. Secret were able to fight their way back into it despite losing June, but it is something June needs to be careful of. He's been that opening death in the last couple of rounds. It's 6-2, but Secret don't want to start throwing too many of these rounds away. They want to get this done quickly and move on. Keep the pressure on BDS going into Skyscraper. Don't let them build back into this game.
I like the respect from Shaiko here, because Virtuo's used that chance of him stepping in and shooting out the gadgets above the doorway as his invitation to step a little bit further forward. He really wants to take this close range engagement with that Titan killer of a shotgun, ready to go for a battle, but Shaiko is giving him absolutely nothing. Elsewhere, the rest of his team are getting focused off towards the east side of the map. Really a classic thing where Shaiko is the solo backstabber by himself while the rest are getting started. And at this point, they're starting to move forward, but I'd love to see them wait until the second phone call is up from the Dokkaebi.
And I think they probably will do. I think, like you say, just using that utility to just try and cover the approach, force everybody off cams, make it difficult for Secret to have any idea what's coming their way. As it is, back on the drones, continue softening upside. They managed to take one of the Goyo canisters, but not two. But all that's going to do, Des, right now, it kind of plays into BDS's favor. Solotov is able to find Groovy, and while that fire burns down, that Dokkaebi call is coming online.
That's it. When that call comes on through, you can keep an eye on that icon on the Dokkaebi card. As long as Usus is alive long enough to make use of it, that'll come out, and that'll be when the team starts their march on forward. They've got a 5 versus 3. In fact, here it comes now, Tim.
This is almost certainly the goal point as Shaiko manages to find one, make it 2. Adrian cuts down users elsewhere, but has now got a huge job. It was 1v3 last round. It's 1v5 effectively this one. He's brought it back to a 1v4, but surely he cannot make it happen, and he won't, as Solotov shuts him down and closes out a round for BDS.
I think the reason why so many players, praise Shaiko as the best player in the world, it really tells the story in that round. When he's being pressured on by 2 players, when he's got all this gadgetry stats on the doorway, he's still showing so much respect to his opponent. So that he's dragging in all this attention, all this time from the enemy team, which enables the rest of his team to get moving on forward, knowing 1 or 2 players are so easily distracted. And even when he's worked through all that, he still finds 2 kills for himself. He's not just a gunplay god, it's the brains and the sense that he's got about the game as well. Keeps his team in it at least a bit longer, but there's still 3 rounds in a row that BDS need to find on the attack of Lair if they're going to send this to overtime.
That's the problem. That's the problem that BDS face right now, is that Secret can effectively just rotate through any site. They can just try and get it done somewhere. They can go to top floor. If that doesn't work, they can go to mid floor. They can go back to basement. Everything is pretty much open to them over the next few rounds to be able to try and get this one done. But with the way they've been playing, I'm not sure that they're going to need that many realistically, because Secret are certainly looking the better of the 2 here on Lair. So they will take us up to the top floor for the, what could be final round. It's going to be round 10. Looking at the side of BDS, they've got the Maverick again. I think a smart play there. They don't really need to worry potentially about any tricking. There's no denial being brought along by the defenders this time, and the Maverick will make short work of any breaching they want to do.
The clash again, this to be the main frustration for me, and no doubt for BDS. Really got punished by up on the top floor last time around. It was just a bit of a nuisance to try and push around it. June really was the one doing so much work, but immediately looking at where they're all set up, there's 3 of them all gathered towards this top side of the top floor. Now pulling their way back at least slightly, but it's about wasting time on the side of BDS. Do you expect to give away this mask wall? More likely than not, teams do get it open one way or another, especially with the Maverick on side. Their solution, as you can see, with it ready in hand, is a C4 from Savage. If he gets a freebie here, this is going to sting.
Yeah, it really will. You can see that the Selma's going off. He's going to actually dip himself back away a little bit. And there we go. We see the drone following in as well, straight away, just to try and see exactly what's going on the opposite side of there. Just try and get a pinpoint on all these defenders. But Secret, I think they're looking pretty comfortable at the minute.
They are, and Adrian's in his classic rat spot as well, dug in by display window, just daring someone to come anywhere near it. He kind of is that, the preventer of the backstab, because you've got this sort of triangle that gets set up then, the ops wall being one spot, the display window being another, and then 3 players that are free to protect up towards highway around the north. Mask then becomes kind of a threat you've got to be mindful of, but this is where things like Virtue being on that clash brings so much into the team, because you can slow things down, you can react to the moves that are coming out of BDS. I do feel like Secret are quite well composed here. BDS just over the half a round still to play with.
Yeah, the battle line's really drawn between the 2. It's all ops and mask wall for BDS. There's nobody anywhere anywhere else in the map. They are all trying to push in from that side. And Secret are just kind of holding the line behind the clash, just waiting for the intel, waiting for the information. As it is, BDS may well just try and get a plant in behind that small wall that you've got on your right-hand side as you come through mezzanine. And they've got the breach, they've got the position. All they need to do is keep Secret away from the desk and to keep them away from mezzanine. And they might just be able to get this done.
Leakyfat's got the right idea, but the Clash is coming down to give support here as well. Oh, he's going to give him away, and this could be a free and easy swing. Sure enough, the swing is there, and they find this man. A great bit of team play coming out from Secret, and a drop over the top of that as well. Another kill comes in. BDS at least on top, Tim, for now.
Yes, definite opportunity here to find a bit of space and put this diffuser down. That's exactly what Solotov's going to do. He's moved his way in through the breach they created from mezzanine users. Manages to find Savage. BDS on the cover, on the kills, as Shaiko finds Groovy. 4 versus 1, diffuser down. Virtue, he's got it all to do. He's taking damage, gets caught in the reload, and Shaiko closes it out. A great round, a great top floor attack from BDS. They've really woken up on Lair.
For me, a great example of why taking no more than you need is completely fine. Leakyfax, sure, he gets stung downstairs, but what I love is the immediate response from BDS. The call comes in, oh, Clash is downstairs, she's on Rocket. She ain't up there slowing you guys from getting a plant down or pushing into site, go and take it. And again, come back to what Fresh did on the desk, where Leakyfax starts barking orders. Another case of that just there. Immediately telling the team to go for their execute. They've got site control, and there was nothing that Secret could do. So a risk to try and force onto Leakyfax. They pay the price for it. Still got to hold on for 2 more rounds, though, here, BDS, for us to get to overtime. This tack timeout from Secret may well just prove to be the secret sauce that they need to hold on.
I think it is the time that you start worrying a little bit if you're Team Secret, though. You know, you were 6-2 up, you had 4 opportunities, you've now got 2 left. It's not the end of the world, but BDS are coming back at you. And that's the bigger point. That jump over the top rope effectively, down into reception, just really split things open. It broke the defense of Team Secret. Had they been able to return those players up to the top floor, then maybe they hold on, maybe they prevent that plant going down. But this here, just straight over, getting involved. It was exactly what BDS needed. It was the catalyst for the round, and Solotov took his chance as soon as it was there. 2 kills have gone down, the Clash isn't coming back. We're straight in for the plant, and BDS right on top of it. And Team Secret, they are, as I suggested they might, going to move on to another site.
It's great discipline to know, and the Clash was not going to be back in position, so they take the site. Really clever stuff. Now attack timeout's coming on through. This is where you hope to see some of these mistakes getting cleaned up a little bit. From Secret, again, it was more of a gamble than strictly a mistake, one that ultimately did not pay off for them. We'll start things off again on that 2nd floor. Means that top floor, the 3rd floor, will be where they start themselves off. It's going to be about the vertical play again. We already saw Secret win here earlier on. Can BDS get things over the line? That's also worth remembering. You're trying to build up this win streak on the attacking side. It gives full agency to the defenders to choose where to play their defensive rounds. Secret can just keep on rotating through. It's not going to bother them too much, I think. They lose this round, though. It's panic stations.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think at that point it starts creeping into your mind that, you know, maybe BDS are a little better on Lair than you had experienced so far. For the time being, it's going to be up to the rooftop for users, opening a couple of barricades on his way and just softening things up for a potential top floor entry from BDS.
I always love seeing Leakyfax on the Nook.
So dangerous.
Don't really get it often. I mean, it's like you get it more often now than you used to, but changes that came in not too long ago, definitely bringing Nook back into the limelight somewhat. Far from our most picked operator, but in very niche situations, phenomenal. And just like that, Fenrir is gone. They've now got the risk of what's going on laterally as a player not too far across from us, lurking around somewhere, giving us a headache. And that's without the rest of BDS starting to work their way in up on the top floor.
That's really unfortunate for Groovy. He was actually previously on mezzanine, just watching down towards reception where Leakyfax was going to move through. But Leakyfax spots the verticals that have been opened up and thinks, you know what? I've got a feeling I'm just going to sit and watch these for a second. And then Groovy goes for a look and gets taken down. So unfortunate start for Team Secret, but Leakyfax and BDS definitely get themselves off on the right foot. As it is, Savage is now going to be tasked with holding on to that top floor. A little bit of support from Adrian as well, as we can see the bullets just being sprayed through the wall by the Warden there. But just hitting the shield of Breeder. He's going to eat them up all day.
And that's really all he's here to do, is to communicate across where these shots are coming from, what the sight lines are showing, and hopefully get kills back the other way. But no, Hughes is falling down here. A great headshot from Savage. Finding out to his man. Now we see the shields really coming into their own. I think BDS realized, actually, I'm getting quite attacked here as I'm trying to go in for the execute, and ain't going to be able to get away with it. Adrian is down on the deck, so for now, at least, it's kind of a 3 versus 4 breaking out. With Virtue getting one back, Leaky Fact falling down. Things are balancing out, and by the looks of it, Tim, Secret are going to hold on.
It almost looks certain at this point that Team Secret are going to find their way into Skyscraper and into a 3rd map decider. If anybody can do it, Des, we know that Shaiko's capable of it. 1v3, he just needs to find that first kill, that one that gets him rolling. He drops down, looking to move through the mid-floor into sight. Doesn't know, I don't think, that they're off to his left at the minute. BDS, Adrian is going to be confirmed, but Shaiko gets spotted out on the cam, moves through. Surely the challenge will come soon. It does. They can't find him. He gets one. Surely they don't let him. 1v3. It becomes a 1v1. 10 seconds left to go.
Can they find him by this point? Surely, as Doom, you just hide yourself away. You haven't got to expose anything. Shaiko in for the drop. Going to try and get the diffuser down here. We've already seen a razor-type 1v1 breakout before. Plants coming on through, but Shaiko peeled off. The discipline was there for Secret. Skyscraper to decide who goes up against FaZe tomorrow.
For just a moment there, I really believed that Shaiko might keep Lair going. It was so close. A 1v3 becomes a 1v1. You feel if he had more time on the clock, maybe it would have been a different outcome. But Team Secret take nothing away from them, show us a very confident Lair on top of BDS and take us to what we were all dreaming of, that map 3 Skyscraper replay.
14 and 7 from Shaiko, absolutely nuclear. However, Secret, they just had that edge when it counted. Let's go over to the desk to break down a very exciting second map.
That is one way of putting it. An unbelievable bounce back from Secret here now. It ties us up 1-1 in the series.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think we were expecting that. We were setting it up saying that BDS, it was going to be the map that they've hit all stage. I think, you know, they put in an okay performance, but I think the big narrative around that map, Rob, is we've got our Secret back. We've seen Secret try and play defaults the whole tournament so far, and they've tried to maybe slow it down, play a little bit more properly. On the attack of Lair, they went back to what we know and love. It was shields, it was faster, it was plant focus. And the most important thing that they got right on that map that they didn't on Kafe, it was together as one unit.
It's one of the most important factors of any map. Unfortunately, we're alone right now, but we've got a big man with a big screen.
Thank you very much, Robert. Indeed, I wanted to show you guys one of the best examples of attacks on Lair from Team Secret. Now, we're on the top floor bomb site, and usually you want to attack it in multiple ways. You want to take that solo wall onto TVs, you want to breach the bridge wall, and you want to breach the Rainbow Six room. Either of the 3 options are fine. It's the first time I see a team working all 3 angles, and you will see even a 4th one. First of all, you need to remove that solo player onto TVs. You see Savage with the Ying, he sends the Candelas at the same time. You see Jum rappelling with Amaru and getting that pick. First win condition, gone. Now they go and open the breach onto breach, that's the second one. And you see Virtue at the back at 123, breaching Rainbow Six room, and Savage ready, sending Candelas for the execute. Now at this point, we are having Jum here into catwalk, breach wall is open. They've now breached the wall and are setting Candelas onto our 6th room. And Adrian, 4th player, is now ready to pinch them. That's a 4-way pinch from Team Secret, ready to go in. It's just an amazing play, and let's take a look at how it pays off. That's how you get solo top 10, Yuzus, Bride, in the span of 5 seconds, the entirety of the bomb site has fell to this attack. Likefak is stuck into a crossfire, flawless round from Team Secret. Honestly, guys, it's one of the best attacks I've seen on Lair so far. If you want to see more from this game, Skyscraper is coming after a short break.
Tell you what, we have just seen exactly what we wanted. We have now gone to a third map. It's taken us so long. We sat here before we went to this map and we pointed out one player specifically that had been lackluster. And Jack, Adrian has well and truly stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, he started today as the 99th rated player, but he got a huge 1v3 inside of that last map. And I did say, I know his personality well. I know that he has the ability to be able to get the big clutches, to have the big impact inside of the rounds for his team. What we talked about when all the way back in this pre-desk, we said Secret, the 3 successful things that they'd done through the stage. They used initiator operators, they had big clutch potential, and they had a huge individual performances. We saw Secret return back to that style that we'd seen throughout the EU League inside of this map. And it's no surprise, therefore, that Adrian has had much more success inside of this map specifically. Gets the 4K, gets the 1v3. That's exactly what we wanted to say from him.
All 3 win conditions were ticked, and most importantly, Adrian from a 0-4 in opening engagements to a 9 on the first map, comes back and drops 14 kills. That's the resilience I was looking for him. It's crazy to think this guy is a rookie and he does that kind of thing. It just tells you how much potential he has.
Yeah, he has now reached a different level, which they're going to have to bring. Secret now, this is a huge opportunity for them to not only beat BDS, this was the entire storyline coming into this best of 3. You know, they're slowly on the rise. They're getting closer. They're inching toward it. We go back to a map, Leo, that we have seen these 2 teams play already this year.
Last time they played on this map, it went all the way to 15 rounds. It was an absolute barn burner for the EU crown. This time there is a semi-final spot on the line for a major. This is huge for them. And imagine the pressure on BDS. I think that's a big talking point for me, because nobody expects Secret to outplace BDS here at this major. Everybody says BDS is the best chance Europe has at this major. If they get already eliminated in the quarterfinal, this is huge, Jack.
Yeah, it's a huge map, and I think if you look stylistically at how these 2 teams play, Skyscraper can be quite, I would say, set piece, quite cheesy if you want to hit the sights directly on this map, whereas BDS might play it a little bit more conventionally, but they'll feel much more familiar in terms of Skyscraper, in terms of playing together, than they did on Lair. So I would expect an increased performance from BDS, but also Secret to be at their very best as well.
Well, let's get underway. This quarterfinal has reached the distance. We're going to a third map. It's Skyscraper, BDS, and Secret take on each other, and it's Dez and Ace to run you through the action.
Thank you very much, Rob. Indeed it is. And the real fun stat about this one, when they played Skyscraper last, yes, it was 8-7, but OT, all 3 rounds are won by defenders. BDS started on defense. Today, Secret start on the defense if we get to OT. That's the big if. It's not a guarantee we get there. First, we've got to see both teams battle to that point. And with us standing out with BDS starting on the defensive side, it's going to be a rough first few rounds from Secret, I expect.
Well, social numbers have come down a little bit, Des. A bit more faith in Team Secret. But Fifth may not be enough. We have got a huge third map coming up here between BDS and Team Secrets.
Skyscraper, one of my favourite maps, Tim, so I'm certainly not complaining too much that it's the last one we get to see here in this quarterfinal. Now, as I said, we've seen both teams playing it. In fact, Secret we've seen even play it a couple of times so far at the Major as well, which I think is what might give BDS a little bit of an edge here. They know what to expect. They've got recent tape on Secret. They can see what they've been planning to bring along to the Major. And of course, if Secret have been saving things that are completely unknown to BDS, then fair play. They've really gone deep in the strat books. If not, I expect BDS has said we'll have a really successful first half. Bans, I imagine, are going to stick the same blitz coming out from BDS and Deimos coming out from Secrets. And there it is.
We'll see whether we get any variation. We've had a little bit more variation of the defenders from these two teams.
Yep.
See how that goes. It was a smoke ban last time around.
How far we've come as an esports scene, because back in the day, it was always one of three bans that you'd see, Mira, Maestro, Echo. That was all you'd really see, maybe a Valkyrie every now and then. Whereas, obviously, in this series, it's very much fixed to the attackers. It's the defenders that vary. Mira ban, I think, might come through at some point. For now, though, it's the Tuber coming out from Secret.
Yeah.
We saw that once on the last map, but I think it's more about being aware that it can really slow things down for the attackers.
Yeah, particularly when you're looking to breach areas like that office wall, like Geisha wall. It's going to make those a lot easier to get into, and then I don't think anybody will be surprised with the Azami ban coming in.
Same bans coming out of BDS as the last time these two teams played this map, back on the 8th of October. Secret have changed things up, at least on the defensive side. That Tuber ban taking the place of Legion, that I think we all know Shaiko is one of his, his go-to main defender is Legion. So we'll draw the occasional ban away. Here, though, he may be a little bit more unleashed with it. And for now, it's Yuzu's picking up Legion duties here in round one. Going to start things off in Karaoke and T. And Secret has said, I've got to pull out something special to feel on the attack here. We were talking a bit during the break. Savage would like to see him step away from shields a little bit, go more guns up. But at least during this first round, he's sat here hovering on none other than the Monty.
They have to get more value out of that shield and out of Savage. So far, 8 kills across both maps and a little bit quiet. They need to be, it could be a difference maker for Team Secret if they can get him into the game more. It's not to say necessarily take him off the Monty, but if you're gonna keep bringing it, you gotta get more joy with it. With so on Lair, it was so easily dealt with by BDS quite a few times, and it wasn't really creating the space that they wanted, I don't think, in those instances where they were using it. So we'll see where the Monty's going to come. Anytime that I see a Monty in an attacking lineup on Skyscraper for Karaoke T, I think we're going to have some attention towards the top of Black Stairs, try and get in there with the shield, bully your way through and create a bit of space. But the rest of the lineup, the Dokkaebi particularly, the Nomad, maybe suggests a bit of an office-sided push across, try and get into Geisha, try and work over from the opposite side.
More about just how quickly Secret can move, though. They did find themselves running out of time, more down to a lack of drones and the information being snatched away from them by BDS. Skyscraper not the most popular map for many reasons, not just in rank, but of course in pro play as well. It's one of our least played maps, but it's definitely down there in terms of pick rate. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that it's very bottlenecky. I spoke about this with Kafe as well. Lots of single doorways to force your way through. A jammer or a Mozzie Pest down on those, and you're going to struggle to get yourself marching on forwards, especially when so many of those doorways find themselves not sat on soft ground. It makes it very hard to go and clear things out from below. Now at least those Secret 60 seconds in, a lot of their focus is around Geisha and really around the actual site itself. In fact, BDS have completely abandoned their extended hold out towards the other side of the map because they know what's going on. They can smell what they're cooking, and Doom starts off with a real big serving of 2 kills. 2 to his name, Virtue to a 3rd. The Secret are on top.
That's huge, taking down Breeder. It opens up those Black Stairs, and immediately Savage has got on there and started pushing up and manages to get the kill from behind onto Solotov, can take the ground. Adrian gets the kill, and Team Secret, they come out quickly on Skyscraper and have just smashed BDS in round 1.
It was June getting those first entry the 2 entry kills that he found at the very start, which really blew things open, because BDS, like, you're basically losing half your team at that point. I spoke about how well set up they were on Lair on a few of their rounds there. It didn't matter.
And what Secret did fantastically off the back of that was understand that that is now go time. Doom gets Breedy, Savage is straight up those black stairs, manages to get Solotov in the back because he's having to challenge onto balcony. Secret just completely overwhelmed BDS and just washed over the top of him inside of 20 seconds.
Which is exactly what we heard Leo talking about during the break as well. When he got on the telestrator, he was saying, look, this 3 or 4 point push that these guys are bringing out, it's so hard to deal with. And I don't really know how Jima's got in a spot where he's on Sushi Bar getting 2 kills inside a barbecue kitchen, but that's exactly what he found. Now we go out towards the east side of the map, so the action is relocating from being out around Karaoke and Tea, and instead moving out towards display and office.
It's really interesting for me to see how BDS do over the next couple of rounds, Des, because I said it in the last map on Lair, and I'll say it again. Sometimes I feel BDS don't always respond fantastically well to being put under pressure like this. Getting behind on score, it can get a little bit quiet in the team. They need somebody, they need a leaker fight, barking at them, bringing them back up, getting that energy into the team. Timing of a tactical timeout could be really important for BDS here if things start getting away from them.
I spoke about it back at the start of the series, but they remind me of VP a lot in that there's a very composed style of gameplay that they like to bring out and overwhelm teams with, smother them out, don't give them a chance for anything too crazy, and that's how they really overpowered Secret back on map 1. If you can't contain explosive teams, and I think that's why naturally we saw such a playstyle difference between VP and Falcons earlier. One really aggressive, one really composed and calm with how they like to play things. BDS have got to respect that. I think if you let Secret get to a point where all 5 players are in the right positions, they will overwhelm them and they'll struggle to be able to keep them at bay.
Good early play from Team Secret, going to get that VIP wall open up. That'll force BDS out of one position at least. BDS were holding over to Geisha. That has now been brought back in. They're kind of limited to Shrine and Drum now. They're worrying a little bit more, I think, about a little direct push towards site. Try and get that office breach open. Force your way in with the Monty. See if they can force BDS out of sight completely. But I think we're going to have Virtue now later into the round just looking to get inside of Geisha and take advantage of that space that's been offered up by BDS. Shaiko still in and around the area on the Valkyrie, could have an impact here. Team Secret need to be aware of his positioning.
Such a different style of play compared to the previous round. Yes, the Legion is tucked into his left, and do they know? I'm not 100% sure they do. Shaiko tries to get away, and in fact does do it, but it's used to punish Savage yet again. The shield is being picked off too early in the round, Tim.
Yeah, it's just not really working for Team Secret at the minute. The rounds they're winning are on the back of kills that come after that point. Shaiko manages to hit a nice nitro onto Virtue. 4 versus 3. Adrian picks up Breedy though, and Team Secret now are the ones that seem to have answers. But there's one question that they cannot find an answer to, Des. And in this round, it's the question of Shaiko. What do you do about a Valkyrie that's just roaming around at will, picking up kill after kill?
He served as perfect bait, really, right? Like, he ran in front of the Monty and forced him to drop his shield, and that's when Yuzu's got the kill back onto him. Has secured a second inside of Terrace to guarantee it's a safe place to be able to rotate back towards site. Has done so much with just 2 kills in the round, but it does take a team to get anything really moving here. And to be fair, Yuzu's right place, right time has taken all the bite out of this attack. And Secret, 20 seconds are on the clock here. I don't think they get this one over the line, Tim.
Yeah, it's perfectly timed for BDS to get themselves the first round on the board as well. I said they don't always respond fantastically well to finding themselves behind on score. That's not going to be the case now. They're going to level things up almost certainly. Are they? At 1-1, Solotov manages to find Grube, and that cements it as he picks up the second. And that's BDS leveling things up, and you feel like that's the sort of thing they need as a team, Des. Get that round on the board, know that they're in this game, know that Secret aren't running away with it, and now we really do have 2 teams battling for that semi-final spot.
Very rare that you get to see a player on your screen running out of ammo as well, having to switch to the pistol. Otherwise, he gets the kill onto the player coming in towards display. And I actually think Secret then can recover that in the 2 versus 1. So unfortunate, but again, I think BDS have played it so well. Shaiko especially, wasting so much time out on the roam, and this kill here, giving his team safe access back towards site. That's the sort of thing that you're looking for. Good round, as you say, a 1-for-1. Really gives you an idea about what you can expect for the rest of this game.
Yeah, we picked up on that shield problem once again for Team Secret. It is coming along. Savage will be playing the Monty again. Keep a close eye on that. Keep watching that because it could be a defining factor of this Secret attack, whether they can start finding any more value. Because whilst he keeps getting shot in the side, shot in the back, taken out, it means Secret are effectively playing 4v5 sometimes because they're just not getting that output that they need from the Monty.
They get the Monty into a spot to be able to stand at sight and then cross with smokes, or even just to shield up and get into a great spot that's really difficult for BDS to deny the plant going down. They look phenomenal, but the problem is, I'd argue in 75% of cases, the Monty simply has not got there. And so again, I come back to the same ask that you and I had during the break. Are we going to see Savage getting off the Monty? I don't think we will. But at some point, I'd like to see trying something a little bit different here to try and catch BDS off guard, because all they're expecting now is to see Monty every single round. So it means things like the C4s and the impacts and the lesions are always going to get brought along. And because the smoke isn't banned away on this map, of course, BDS will be weaponizing that to try and slow this shield down.
June back onto the drones, just wants to know exactly what's going on this bottom floor. They are attacking over onto the far side of things. It's going to be Kitchen. They're looking to get themselves on into, but they're going to need to still pay attention to Black Stairs. We've got BDS on the smoke in that position once again. They were able to deal with it really well last time with that early aggression from June, but they haven't had any such joy in the first minute.
I think it was Nuts that we saw her Nuts play on Black Stairs, right? Where he had Capital Firebolts down on top of him, had a player inside the site itself actually supporting him through the vertical, and they collected like 3 kills from the attackers trying to push around Black. It was unbelievable. So BDS being sat here, he is kind of objective number 1. You need to force him away if you're going to make this push work.
Yeah, Team Secret just seem to be on a little bit of a pause at the minute, waiting for the first piece to fall. Doom is going to be working across that top floor. Leakerfact gets into position, does get seen. They can't allow him to win this fight. Nade goes in. He manages to avoid it. Leakerfact, Team Secret cannot allow him to come away with this kill.
Yeah, still Shyko's found one. The C4 on towards Adrian. It's a Thatcher going down rather than the Monty. And look at that, another down coming on through. And like you say, Tim, you can't be letting this happen. At least one coming back the other way. Not quite on the deck at this point, but it's a numbers advantage for BDS, a 4 versus 3. Shield still on side for Secret. 60 seconds to play, it's not bad. But now you've got to worry constantly about the threat of this side stab from Leakyfact.
Yeah, they just weren't able there, Secret, to find that aggression to move on in. And I think it was because BDS had that backup. They had that further line behind them that was able to hold. And Leakyfact then able to make life difficult and get that job done. 3 versus 4. Secret need to be finding the next kill, that much is for sure. Going to be looking to get a breach on to allow the view from that bathroom wall straight through into sight. Maybe open things up a little bit. Grube, he's going to open things up by taking down Shyko. 3 versus 3. Leakyfact on low health, but users finding a nitro onto the player above. Grube taken down, and BDS look like they will secure round 3. 10 seconds left to go, and Virtue is cut down by Leakyfact.
That sort of idea, but I think is BDS. As soon as they realised Groovy was above opening up floorboards, it was like, those are expensive floorboards, bro. Here's a C4 to the face. Him being taken down removes all that threat on the site itself, and they're then free to engage the Monty as Savage goes pushing on through. So dare I say actually an example of a time when Secret are very out of sync. Like Savage pushing in basically a 1 versus 3 because his second man was off to his left, nowhere near the site. A little bit of mistiming and maybe miscommunication there coming out from Secret. But after 3 rounds, BDS are up 2-1. You won't be beating yourself up too much, I don't think, in Secret shoes right now.
No, not at all. They've done what they need to do. Like I say, if they can get a 4-2 half for the defenders is pretty much standard. It's what we would expect. If Secret can come away at that, going onto the defense, they'll be confident that they can at least take it into overtime. Honestly, Des, since the second that we saw that Skyscraper was on the board, it felt like it was written in the stars that this one would go to overtime on Skyscraper. We're a long way from getting there yet. But you can just feel it brewing. We've watched a lot of Siege. We've seen this happen a lot of times over and over. And this one, it just feels like it's headed in only one direction.
Yeah, well, maybe. Of course, see how that second half plays out. It could be an absolute shutout, but BDS being great on the attacking side because, as I remarked earlier, Secret have played this map a couple of times at the Major. BDS have got tape they can go back and look at, whereas for BDS, they haven't played it. The last time they played it was against Secret about 5 or 6 weeks ago when they won 8-7 like we keep on referencing. So I just worry that when we get deeper into this game, BDS will have that information advantage and Secret will struggle to keep up, but my God, do I hope I'm proven wrong.
Savage on the shield once again. Let's keep a close eye on that Monty through this round and see how much of an impact it can have. For the time being, the Ying of Adrian will open up Geisha wall and try to create a little bit of space, but it's unlikely that BDS are going to be dipping away from this fight just because the wall is open. Liquefact, he's going to be holding himself tight on the inside there. They really want to make sure that they've got Hatch, that they've got the vertical angles down into sight. BDS are not going to give that up without a fight. They might as well lose a couple of lives over it because they know it could be catastrophic if they don't.
Cheeky little run out from the Legion of Liquefact there, I think it was, on towards Geisha balcony. At the same time, it's enabled users to find Adrian, though. That's the Ying gone, Tim. What an operator to lose at this point, because you really want those smokes, those candelas on Cypher when the teams say go. It not being online means the Savage now is under a lot of threat as well. Working his way through Terrace and up towards Drum. Not top black and not in through Geisha. Definitely a bit of risk. Has now got at least a Twitch coming in behind him as well for a little bit of support. But I just worry that we're going to find another situation where Savage is finding himself punished by the players that are now starting to surround him a bit. Has got to be so careful about where he steps here.
Yeah, it feels like BDS are starting to run away with things at the minute. That's 3 entries in a row for them. And
they don't know. Do they know? They don't know. No, they don't know Liquefact's to his right.
As soon as he pushes forward there, it's going to be getting shot in the back once again. But Liquefact does have to drop away, so that's something for Secret, whether they know it or not. The Monty of Savage this time certainly not getting as aggressive as previous, not putting himself into that difficult spot. Will continue now with his push towards top floor. Knows that there's one inside of sight. He's just going to walk on in here, Des. Just trying to make sure that he can bully them away.
That's the idea. I mean, feed over information to your team. That's the play to go for. He's got to win this fight and does finally win one out. And like that, he's commandeered control of the site. But there's a little bit of a push coming in behind him. Not that it matters, because Secret have got 2 follow-up kills on the back of it. The last 2 here. 1 top black, 1 inside of sight. This is a great spot to be in. And they've said, go kill. Shaiko's in the box. And now he's underground.
Secret wake up and get themselves the 2nd successful attack of Karaoke Tea. And that is absolutely perfectly timed for them. Savage more effective on that shield this time. Didn't overextend where Liquefact would have been a serious problem for him. Instead, forced Liquefact to have to drop away. The pressure was mounting, gets himself into sight. Really nice from Secret to build in behind that.
Looking back at the last time these 2 teams played, it was 3-3 halves, right? And guess where Secret won their first 2 attacks? It was on Karaoke and Tea, so all things are following. In fact, it was in round 5 that we headed over to our next site, Exhibition and Office, and Secret came out on top once again before BDS closed out the half with a defensive round win. It could have been catastrophic going down 4-2 on the defense of this map, but they managed to balance things out at 3 apiece. So don't get too nervous if you see Secret taking this next round, at least without history repeating itself and how things have built up so far. We'll be in for those even split halves, and overtime will be upon us.
Moving on over to Office and Exhibition then. BDS just going to continue that rotation. They are not happy with Karaoke Tea today, and no surprise, as Secret have been able to get the job done there twice. So, last time around, what did we see from Secret on the attack? There was a lot of attention out towards the Geisha side. Karaoke Tea tried to take that and move across. There was never any real pressure, I don't think, that came into BDS on site. They were fairly comfortable through a lot of it, and Secret are going to have to find a way to change that. Interestingly, Des, this time, Savage comes off the Monty.
Thank God. It's taken about how many rounds now of attack? We saw it across the last map as well. It's been a while, Tim. I'm glad that he's stepping away from it and getting instead onto the book here. It does give him a lot more utility to play behind. Yes, less of a pointy threat to go stabbing forward with, but I like that they're changing things up after realizing they couldn't get the job done when they attacked into here previously. No chances being blocked away by the looks of it. This now should be the wall getting opened up. In fact, to say that it is re-electrified, Tim. That's going to be a bit of a stinger, because that now means VIP stays closed. Normally one of the walls that you need open before all else on the attack of this site.
I was just going to say, potentially Savage underneath could have dealt with that on the book, but despite moving off the shield, having a gun in hand, he is unable to secure himself a kill still, as Liquefact roaming underneath picks up the book, and that is a big first kill for BDS. But as they have continuously throughout the last couple of maps, Team Secret find an answer, find a trade, take down Liquefact. That's the mute gone, and that gives them now a 4v4.
That might have been the most horrific wallbang, by the way, that we just got then. That's horrid.
I think there was a potential that they were looking for Liquefact to try and play underneath potentially with a nitro, look for a little bit of vertical denial, but Secret have now removed that.
He came in spraying into Geisha a thing and then found him on the drum door, which is a bit like, what? I'm sure even he sat there screaming as to how the hell has that happened, but this is why spraying a soft wall sometimes can give you absolute magic. Down towards these last 60 seconds though, and Secret, they've got to get a bit of a wiggle on at this point, Tim. They've got drum control at the very least, and they've forced BDS back in towards site itself. Vert uses, on the mirror, the one hanging out towards Dragon, who can do a little bit of work, but other than that, it's about holding down as the assault starts to build up.
Still 3 nitros on the board for BDS to be able to try and repel this push as it starts to mount in through terrace. Just going to be holding that position for the time being. I think Secret just looking to relocate the Capitao of Doom. And as you can see, everybody's just kind of on a pause at the minute. Just waiting for this utility to get into place to try and move this player behind the minibar.
You've got Solotov on the Warden is the problem as well, so smoke ain't going to help you too much. The fire at least moving a couple of players away. C4 missing, and now Groovy's been found out. However, Virtue stepped in, secured the trade. Terrace is theirs now that it's gone. Doom in through display. Window's going to go big here as well. One coming on forward, and Adrian's collected his man, a 2 versus 1. 10 seconds still to play. Don't know if Hughes can clutch this one out. 2 more still pushing on through. They're going for the kill, Tim, and they're going to find it as well. Adrian with the close, and damn, has history got a way of repeating itself.
The score just keeps bouncing back and forward. Secret find themselves in the lead once again. 3-2 now, and BDS it is on the back foot, just trying to cling on to the coattails of Secret in that last round, but they just couldn't manage it. I like the pressure from Team Secret just coming from so many different angles there. We had a player on the breach, we had the terrace push. They just seemed to be getting in from everywhere, and no matter where BDS found a kill, there was always somebody else to shoot them in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Leak effect we see there, he was just bouncing up and down those drum stairs and just got picked up through the barricade at the top. It was a tough one.
I keep on saying that history does have a way of repeating itself. We're at the same scoreline that we were last time these two teams played the map. We're going back to the exact same site in round 6, and this is where BDS found success. Things ended up being a 3-3 split. Do we deviate or do we stay the same? Looks like we're going to have the Monty being brought along once again from Savage, which I don't hate. Last time attacking in towards this site, it wasn't the most successful for them. If you recall, he had to push him blind. It was just 2 versus 3 and really a little bit ahead of the rest of his team. They paid the price for it in the end, but we've also got the Ying and the Amaro on side. And Tim, think about what I said about Amaro earlier. It can lead to some spicy moments, even if not strictly for the execute itself, more for surprising BDS out on their own.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just about moving into places quickly. I always like when Amaru's used later in the round rather than at the beginning. Just wait until all that noise and chaos is raining from your attack, and then an Amaru just springs in somewhere unexpected. For the time being, BDS still setting up on that top floor. Not too unusual, but they're going to be looking to, of course, hold on to Geisha, hold on above Kitchen and Barbecue. The shield is back in action as Savage didn't have too much impact on the book, so they've decided they will get the Monte back on course. And Team Secret, pretty much as expected, straight away, Geisha wall opened up, try to mount the pressure on towards there, try and secure that hatch for their own use.
Looking towards Savage. He's always the one to watch out for because he's on the Monty and he's got the diffuser. He's all the way out towards display window, sat droning for his team right now. Literally the other side of the map and on the wrong floor. So there's still a lot of coverage for him to work his way through here, and with a couple of players, I believe it's Yuzus and Solotov holding up on the second floor, he could still be under a little bit of threat. But what are we cooking here, Doom? It's feeling about flying in towards site and maybe causing a little bit of bother. That might be the game plan.
There is a bit of space there for him. If he goes into bottom black stairs, I don't think there's anybody really in a position. I was going to say Breede's actually just moved in there now. And so he's going to have to be the one to deal with the Amaru here. Again, the shield is just sold for free. Shaiko takes down Adrian. Doom does manage to get Breede as he goes in on the Amaru straight up those stairs, and they're looking to sweep across this top floor now, but BDS know it's coming. Their guns up, they're ready and waiting.
They were so relying on that flash being enough, but they paid the price. Here comes the run out as well. Oh, Leakifak almost finding his man. Just narrowly missing by a matter of pixels. They've got the 4 versus 3. There's still Candela's online, but Solotov, that may well seal the deal unless we see a massive clutch out of Doom and Virtue.
Yeah, I would expect so. Moves on in, manages to get one. 2v2 as Virtue gets one elsewhere. And just when it looked like it might be going BDS's way, all of a sudden with 40 seconds they're holding on, but what a great grip they've got as Users manages to take down one. 1v1, almost at the end, but Solotov is there for the trade. And that is going to be the round for BDS. And just like it was back in the playoffs, the first half finishes 3-3.
Oh boy, it really is building towards that same story. Great ending close from BDS, mind you, though. Again, playing for those trades, playing around each other. Right idea from Virtue and Doom, just couldn't quite get it over the finish line. And in games like this, you'll see it across the rest of the weekend going into our final quarterfinal, the next two semis, and of course the grand final. It really does come down to very small differences that see which way rounds go. Is someone trading me out? Did they get seen on a drone? Has the Monty been caught out yet again? Yes is the answer, by the way. Savage, I think, unfortunately, relying a bit too much on the utility there to make sure he could walk in for free, and they paid the price for it. Now we get to switch over, and BDS get to show us their attacking chops here on Skyscraper. Secret moving over to the defense.
You feel like this first two rounds, round 7, round 8, are going to be critical to Team Secret here. They need to hold on to at least one of them. It's the big test. Can you hold on to Karaoke Tea? Can you hold on to Office Exhibition? If they can grab both of them, you start looking at it thinking, this is winnable in regulation for them. This could be a 4-2 half and a 7-5 win overall. So BDS, they need to ensure that they don't let things get away from them. Interesting use of the utility there from Secret. They've actually played a mirror window out towards Office and Exhibition, so it would suggest that there's going to be a reasonable attempt at an extended hold from them. Savage is still over that side. I think Ruby's on his way back to join him, but BDS could well see this use of utility over there and think, maybe we go direct to site and avoid it, but right now they are stacking up on that side and continuing with the push.
I think it's often because you also only really see one effective mirror window coming in towards the defense over towards Karaoke and T-side, and that normally is on towards Gold to give you the information of what's going on Highway, up towards Shrine, down towards Drum, later into the round. So the second one kind of becomes a floating mirror window that you can deploy however you want. And in this case, it's out towards that extended side. It is to try and slow things down that little bit more. The C4 finding out uses to kick things off. Virtue striking true, and certainly no complaints on that side. At this point, Secret is still spread around the map, and they've really got the run of the place. It's BDS who need to get some control here. Come in like a stern teacher and say, time to sit down, kids, come on.
Leakivac's going to make his way back up house stairs. Don't think there's anyone there to challenge him at the minute. Breede manages to pick up Doom, level things out 4 versus 4 now. That just steadies the ship a little bit for BDS and just prevents them getting too far behind here in terms of man count. 1 minute 30 left in the round, and BDS have got a little bit of freedom now. They've got a little bit of space to start working across this top floor. Leakivac has almost pushed up into Drum now. They could do with a little bit of pressure on Geisha potentially, just to try and give them that space to continue moving forward.
I'm keeping an eye on that second phone call in the back pocket of Leakivac here as well. We keep on speaking about how effective Dokkaebi is, and sure enough, here it comes. That should be the go sign for them to start moving on forward. No mute on side to suppress these as well. They'll ring out for the full duration unless cancelled or put away. BDS love Dokkaebi. 3 different players have her in the top 3 operators because it helps them take so much ground so quickly. But here in the final 60, they've now got no information left. It's about pushing in and winning those fights. A second C4 kill in the round connects.
This is it. It's kind of time to brute force this push for BDS. Just go in and try to take and win gunfights. But Savage, he manages to find Shaiko, and this is getting difficult. The last 2 left alive, Leakivac and Breede, they're stuck inside a drum. They're going to be able to open up the site wall into T, but the long angles are being held from Geisha. They may well find themselves being punished as they get cut down. It's Adrian stepping onto T door. 1v3. Breede manages to get one. 19 seconds and 2 kills to find. He keeps searching, seeking. He knows that they're inside a site, but there's very little that Breede can do about this.
He needs to win the 1v1 to the far kill, but won't even get that. So Savage being tucked in, you know that he's there, that's all well and good, but if you don't know where the second player is, they're going to swing as soon as you get anywhere nearby. Great round from Secret. As mentioned, 2 C4 kills, no real response from the side of BDS. They traded out the second one, but this extension around the entire map just gave BDS far too many hurdles to have to jump over. What a great first defensive round from Secret.
Yeah, it really was. BDS, they, yes, managed to clear that extension, but just it wasn't enough. They got themselves stuck across that middle line of Shrine and Drum. They didn't ever really put enough pressure onto Geisha, and it just caused them a headache. They couldn't get past that next block of getting into sight. So, I said round 7 and 8 were going to be particularly important. Round 7 goes the way of Secret. If round 8 does as well, you start wondering how long it's going to be until that BDS tactical timeout will come in.
Well, it was actually it started out a similar way last time round where Secret took round 7. So 4-3, again, a scoreline that we have seen. If you're really trying to follow the script here, BDS actually go on to win the next 2 rounds, and then you can start having a conversation about how close the game really is going to be. But again, really impressive that first defensive round from Secret. I think that just shows that they've come in ready for this too. BDS, I won't quite say looked lost, but definitely didn't have the teeth that I've seen them have in previous attacks.
Into the action phase we go. Round 8, Office and Exhibition. Team Secret defending over on the opposite side to the last round, pretty much as we would expect. BDS need to be finding something here. Just the third choice sites is not going to be enough for them. 3 attacks is essential if they want to continue, not just in the game, but in the Montreal major overall. Let's remember, the winner of this map continues on through to the semi-final. The loser will be going home. Their race will be run. Adrian, he's going to be positioned out on house stairs. He's got those bandit batteries in hand, looking to keep that VIP wall closed, but there's a fear of Leakafak is going to make that very difficult, nigh on impossible for him to do.
They'll try and trick this one out. You can find yourself getting killed from below if you're not too careful, and that's what Adrian has got to be conscious of. Sure enough, EMP comes on through, and no trick, no way. I mean, he's trying to reverse, get the kill actually back onto the other side, but I think at this point you realise that wall is cut. It's most definitely open. We've seen teams do this before. The bandit, rather than run and trick the wall, actually goes to the gunfight instead, and we've seen a couple picked up, and it's a great way to remove a player for free and say, yeah, you want a wall? We've got rid of your Zofia. It's a brilliant start to a round, but in this case, enough caution being shown by Leakafak to not give his life away for free.
Yeah, BDS are doing well here. They're covering off the basics. They've got that VIP wall open. They've now got access into sight through the office breach as well. Shaiko's poised, ready to maybe have a little bit of a push on into Dragon here. I'm not sure. I think he is aware, given that the flash went in, of the player in that position. Users does manage to pick up Virtue. So 5 versus 4, advantage BDS. Oh, just missed their man there. Leakafak has an opportunity as they just strafe across that terrace door, but he can't quite find it.
And now June's dug in, that's the frustration. In fact, he's crossed back over again, it's worth stressing. Leakafak thinks he's inside of sight. It could be a freebie here if June plays his cards right.
BDS are just waiting for that moment where potentially they pull that 3-2-1 and in they go to try and get some kills and get the diffuser down. June once again transfers his way back in. The mirror window ahead of him has been dealt with. Nitro goes out. Not going to be able to catch anybody for the time being, likely to be taken out, I think, before they continue their push on in. Mirror window is dropped, and surely this is the moment for BDS as Solotov picks up Adrian. It's go time. Solotov with another, Brede with a third, and BDS, they arrive on the attack, and this one continues as close as it has so far. Brede is going to get the plant down, and BDS almost certain to close this out, and do in flawless fashion.
That is a textbook BDS attack. So well done. I mean, Solotov being the backstab factor and getting 2 is certainly one way to open things up. But even Groovy was stuck out towards Karaoke. He couldn't pull back in because we had players watching inside a terrace and one watching on Shrine window. The other 2 players just come forcing their way through and towards sight behind the cover of smoke. A plant goes down and there is nothing that you can do about it. So stifling, and this is why when I think about teams like BDS and Virtus.pro to come back to them again, the most success you can find against them is tripping them up early in the round before they have a chance to get all 5 players lined up for an execute. Because when they are in that position, they are so difficult to stop, as Secret have just witnessed.
Yeah, Solotov in through Swords window there was absolutely phenomenal. It just cut that Team Secret defense in half. Like I say, almost perfect attack from BDS. Getting that flawless round really sends a message to Team Secret because, like I said, the third choice sites are not enough for BDS. They need to be finding at least one of those top floor sites that they can win on, and they've now sent the message that they have done. This is going to be a round where Secret decide to go for that third choice. It's going to be Kitchen Barbecue that they look to hold on to. BDS, if they can get this win, you start looking towards the potential of overtime because it's going to make it very difficult for Secret to find them 4.
It is, and I think now we bring down the shields, and the Doku's still on side once again with the Grim. Also stacking up a lot of tools on side here once again for BDS to make and execute work. So I come back to what I said at the end of that last round. The secret, it's about getting up in the face of BDS, trying to take them down, but if only it were as easy as that. Time and time again, we spoke about, for example, out on piano, we had Adrian sat there back on Kafe, a solo man, and 3 players suddenly descended on him. He had no chance of getting out there alive. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, like I said earlier on. Just got to try and find a way to upset BDS. And C4s have worked pretty well, I'd say, so far. 2 of those are in back pocket here. They could pick up the shield or one of these crucial operators. They'll definitely increase Secret's chances of getting it over the finish line.
Looks like it's going to be a pretty brute force attempt to take Geisha here. Just send Breeder in on the shield. Interesting to see if they can maybe get that bit of extra value, but Doom takes him straight down. Huge start for Secret as Adrian's out of the window, but BDS, they managed to find a couple themselves. Doom onto Solotov, and an absolute flurry of kills early in the round. Caesars with Secret in the driving seat, 3 versus 2.
And a lot of it going on upstairs as well. Let's not forget this extension onto the top floor gives you that vertical control. Secret has still got it at this point. Shaiko, the one working his way underneath here, I imagine, up black stairs. There we go. Working his way up and needs to find a couple of kills up here. But again, if only it was that easy. Secret have played out these round end scenarios so well to date. Leakyfat might find one on the cross here. He's moving his way towards main stairs too. So far, no one picked down. And let's not forget, BDS have got a lot of time to work with here. If they can sync up and start getting in a spot to take 2 versus 1s, they can still come out on top.
Chaco taking some damage there, but like you say, they managed to combine, they managed to put Virtue in a difficult position. Leakyfat picks him up, 2 versus 2, and an age of time left on the clock. BDS, they've got everything they need realistically to be able to turn this, except that diffuser, and that's something that they need to consider, and that right now is what Secret are playing for. But Shaiko manages to take down Doom through the smoke, and it's all up to Groovy. He gets one, but cannot find a second. Leakyfat cuts him down, and BDS, they get another attack and find themselves in the lead as this one continues to bounce back and forth.
I want to know who's writing the scripts, Tim. I don't think they went back in and edited the scoreline from last time. It was 5-4 last time they played on this map. We are mirroring it 1 for 1. I even said 2 rounds ago, if we follow the script, 2 rounds get won by BDS. That's what we've just found. Secret.
What happens next, Des?
What happens next? Well, Tim, I'll tell you what happens next. Secret come back and win 2 rounds in a row, and then BDS win the next one to send it to overtime.
Okay, let's see if we continue through the trend.
And the Secret tack timeout might be the key to getting those 2 rounds on the board.
Potentially. Twister having a lot of input here. Team Secret certainly still in the fight. They've got the choice of the top floor sites to go back to. I'm sure it will probably be Karaoke and T, where they were able to secure that first round. BDS's attack was not fantastic on there, it has to be said. I'd be interested to see, last time BDS tried to go in to Office and Exhibition, sweep their way across and work that way. They didn't get Geisha, they didn't pressure Black Stairs, they didn't have anybody Karaoke window, they didn't have anybody over on that side to apply pressure, and Secret were able to stand up to the attack really well. So the question for me is, this time, BDS, do you learn from that? Do you come away and do you make sure that you're pressuring directly onto site?
I just love Adrian's response. We've all been there. Playing ranks, watching games, sometimes you just go, how? How has he done that? He's got away with it. Gave him BDS the round, I'm afraid, my friends. That means you guys are now on the back foot. Attack timeout complete, and we get to step in for, you're right, Tim, Karaoke and T. It's exactly where we went back last time around as well. Again, I really feel like someone has not stepped in and updated the previous script. It is scary how 1 for 1 is. I couldn't tell you how many kills each player had at this point, but I'm sure if I did, it would also match up as well.
Let's see who's going to be getting the kills in round 10 then. 5-4 at BDS. Can they buck the trend of copying what happened last time these 2 teams met on Skyscraper? If BDS can get this round and send themselves onto map point, onto series point, then it will be the first difference that we have had. Leakerpack straight away, taking out Swords Window, leads me to believe that there is going to be pressure from that Office Exhibition side, but I asked, would they challenge more directly onto site? Would they try to give Secret multiple angles of pressure to have to worry about? The fact that BDS is over near Blackstairs on the Monte suggests that yes, BDS will look to pressure more directly onto site.
They had a castle barricade in the terrace window here to let Groovy play around terrace, and now that's gone, he's going to have to be so fearful of that window. They're basically ignoring trying to play out into the extension. Similar to what we saw back in round one, actually, when we had a BDS in the defense, they abandoned the extension out towards the east side and came straight back towards site because Secret were applying pressure and really building up on site itself and realized, all right, the extension game is not going to be a piece of this. Let's top that focus. No doubt the key piece, if you remember, it was BDS, who was a real headache playing on these backstairs before. Couldn't quite clear him off. He got a freebie onto the shield player of Savage. And now it's Adrian who's sat in those exact shoes trying to play a similar role, but of course here, not on the smoke.
A little bit tentative from BDS here, not wanting to over-aggress or move in too quickly.
Haven't got to rush it.
No, they don't have to rush it, but Secret happy enough for the time being as well to just hold their angles and let this time tick by. BDS is positioned with the Monte on Blackstone. They are ready to go in, but the first challenge comes. A Solotov onto Groovy. Manages to pick up the opener. 5 versus 4, and it starts to clear out Geisha. Leakerpack onto Doom, and BDS, they're starting to find their feet on Skyscraper. They're starting to move with a little bit more purpose as Shaiko takes down Adrian. Solotov finds Savage, and it's falling apart for Secret in round 10. The diffuser is going down, and there is very little that Virtue can do.
Secures a kill in the close, which does break the scripting, but in reverse. I mentioned that it was Secret that went on to win last time they played, but it was with a flawless round. They were very narrowly away, BDS, there from securing one of themselves. They're writing their own fairy tale. They're up 6 and 4. Secret, a little forlorn, the tack timeout not doing anything for them. Have got to hold on for 2 rounds to send us to overtime. Exhibition and Office going to be where they take us for round 11. This shot, by the way, was nice. So lovely. Groovy had been sat on terrace the whole time, just waiting for them to come pushing on through. And for a second, I thought Leakerpack had gone in blind, but no. Solotov just watching, knowing that Groovy was nearby. And they get the free punish. Even the attempted flank coming down from Shrine side got punished by BDS. They were just aware of absolutely everything happening in that round. Great stuff. And I do worry now that Secret, backs against the wall, may not be able to get this done.
We've got some BDS.
Yes, it's Tom and Co. Our resident chanters at any major.
I wouldn't expect, no, we would be disappointed with any less, I think that's.
We love it. No shield in this round from BDS, mind you, Tim. Have opted not to bring it. Still got that Dokkaebi again. I'll speak about this until the cows come home. They love this operator. It's why I was kind of surprised, actually, back on our first map, we didn't see it brought along. Instead, it was Lion that was getting brought along for a few of those rounds. They just gain so much ground when they have the Dokkaebi on side and really know how to punish teams with that operator. Even post-nerf, it doesn't matter. They tended to use them later into the round anyway to gain ground when they needed something to unlock it, stop themselves from getting a little bit stuck. So with that, alongside Choker locking down ground that they take, Solotov, who's been having a great time on the Ash, continues on that operator as well. Got all the tools to get the job done.
Already got the intel on the claw. Second one will be deployed, but it's already dealt with. Well played from BDS there to get that wall open. They might find themselves, no, I was going to say it might just be in time for the second Selma detonation to be denied at least, but it wasn't. So BDS have the full walkthrough hole into VIP and will now start just peppering shots in through Office wall.
The re-electrification as well is worth noting. In that case, there someone bolts in through it, they're going to get electrified zaps. The noise they make is what you get for the information. So it's not like he's going, oh, I really wish I could keep it electrified. It's there as an option. He's actually taken both claws off that wall now and said, forget about it, and he's going to redeploy them, one on towards the main breach itself, but also to protect the player that will no doubt later be in behind minibar. For now, most of Secret are actually scattered to the high winds. They're all around the map, so they're trying to give nothing to BDS. If BDS read into this and realize 4 players are off site, they could smash site.
Yeah, the Dokkaebi call has come in, so I wondered if that was going to be the case at that point, whether it was just a little bit of an opportunity for BDS to start pushing forward and taking some ground, but they haven't really followed in behind it.
There's 1 player on site. if they get the read on a drone here and know what's going on, they could smash it and have to force Secret into a retake that, truthfully, I don't think they'll be able to get away with. They've still got the one phone call in the back pocket of the Dokkaebi as well if they do try and come for a retake. I don't know if BDS have really read into it yet or fancy taking that gamble. You've got players now in closer proximity as they've come down from Shrine in towards Dragon. You've got June now playing inside of Terrace. They are starting to bring that support back towards site, which is good.
Yeah, you kind of feel that the opportunity has passed them by. BDS look to move up house stairs, do get one, but Virtue and Doom, they manage to offset the damage. 4 versus 3. Users with a late trade. BDS might just be taking this away. 2v2. Secret, they keep on fighting. They keep on finding a way to keep themselves in this stairs. Doom onto Users 1v1 now.
It's all about this close here. They have to win this one out. Likifak praises the GOAT, one of the greatest in the world at the moment. Not just as an IGL, but a gunner against Doom. Has had a wonderful tournament. The spray narrowly misses, but the time is working against Likifak. There's 10 seconds on the clock. Relocates himself. Doom dancing around here and giving him absolutely nothing. The clock's going to work against him. He's got no idea where he is. Off towards his right-hand side. He knows and won't find it. Doom with the bailiff secures the 1v1. And Secret, that heart keeps on beating.
So close for BDS. Just one kill. There's one kill away from that semi-final, but it would not come. It was played absolutely brilliantly there by Secret, just burning that time, just making him come and find that kill, knowing that Likifak had no option to put the diffuser down on the ground, to go and collect it, to do anything other than to try and chase that last man down. And he just couldn't get it done. He couldn't find the shots when it came down to it. BDS then still have one more chance. It's 6-5. Secret need to find another round to keep themselves in this.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Just honestly, just give me overtime. Just give me overtime. Between these two is going to be absolutely unreal. The tension, the passion that will get poured into the server for those final 3 will be spectacular. But in order to provide us with it, there's Secret need one more. They need to cook something up in Kitchen and Barbecue.
Take a deep breath, because these next 4 rounds, if they get served to us, could be pretty exhausting. Not just for the players, for us as well. Last round they played out really aggressive on the extension, Secret, and BDS didn't really play into it. They did try and put a lot of focus on the site itself. Didn't hit it at the time when Virtue was the only player around. But as you saw as it came down to that closing 1v1, Terrace wasn't a part of the map they managed to get control on. Groovy is so often the player that is out deep on the roam, and he's almost really be the first getting into these initial engagements. In fact, I think pretty sure between him and Doom, 26 and 8 they've been on the entry across this competition so far. They're the ones that Secret won in the early engagement.
Shaco's just done an unreal job with that clutch drone. Gets it in there, takes out a bulletproof cam in sight, a default cam, and a Banshee as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Turning intel over to the BDS site. If Secret don't realize that's happened, or until they realize it, BDS have got eyes in sight and can start feeding that information back in. They are likely to need top floor. Solotov takes down Doom, the hero of the last round. That is a hammer blow to the hopes of Secret. And there's another one, quite literally, as Breeder takes down Savage. 5 versus 3. Can Secret hold on against the odds again?
That was such a gamble from Savage. I'm not sure why you make this play. Knowing that it's a Monty working his way in. There is a second player. The anticipation is there. Look down below, my friend. There's another kill coming on through. And Virtue and Groovy, what a tournament they've had. But this needs to be the round they go the biggest we've seen yet.
Groovy just looking to make that peek around. He knows that somebody's going to play behind the Monty, and that's who he is looking for. But right now, Virtue and Groovy, they hold the hope of the whole of Team Secret on their shoulders. Gives away his position as he sprays at the Monty, considers dropping, but won't go for it. He knows that there's one underneath. He knows it would be death. I think Secret right now, Des, they're just hoping that the vertical will be enough. Groovy gets one onto Users.
He's such a nightmare to deal with, Groovy, but the plant's going down and they haven't got enough cover up on this top floor to be able to stop it. This gets completed and I'm pretty sure this one's done. A great second kill. BDS a single kill away, and Groovy, he's got 3 players to find in about 25 seconds, Tim. No one's managed to pull off this kind of play before, I'm pretty sure. Down he drops on towards main stairs. The Monty staring him down. BDS find all they need. They write their own fairy tale and secure a date with FaZe in the semi-finals.
What a performance from BDS when it was needed more.